No audio.
Jesus, Jesus, malevolence change, or remove it on the mountains of Jesus, Jesus, malevolence change, or remove it on the mountains of Jesus, Jehovah Jireh, Jesus, now only you, oh Lord, my level has changed. No man can stop it. Nobody can change it, Lord. My I wanna reach my level has changed from no one to someone. My level has changed from zero to hero. Oh, my level has changed, oh, from insult to result. From grass to grace, compensated me. From no one to someone. When I'm for me, show me let us give you praise. Because you are more than what we say. Show me let us give you praise. Yeah, you can do this. You say I am the God of us. There is no condition more than that. All my conditions change. You will take me to the mountains. Ah, when you so be a baker, now I am a giver. Show me let us praise the Lord. For he has turned my best around. Oh, my level of single, my level of sin, my level of sin. Hallelujah. Jesus. I can never be a failure. I can never be a loser. Jehovah gonna change it around. Where will I go? Never before your mercy, Lord. I will not be behind. Ever you love.
Okay, folks, welcome once more to the closing argument. Jack Peabody, you got it. You take control.
Well, Julius Lofa, happy Sunday, man. Happy Sunday, my brother. Brother Julian, happy Sunday. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this special edition of the closing argument here tonight. We are focusing on the election that is scheduled to take place for the House and the Senate tomorrow as well. So we'll be joined by some members of the House of Representatives, Akaras Gray, Melvin Cole, and Tia Fuka will be joining us. But we'd like to welcome everybody, ladies and gentlemen, and all our panelists are here. Chief Kev Hassan will be joining us as well. But for now, let's go over to our Chief Political Strategist, Chairman Ben Sembi, who will take the program from here.
Well, do you just give me a title?
If they're long in the winter, you know that.
Yeah, I know. But it's good to be here, guys. Good to be here. Just went to church this morning. Had a good service. This was such an important show. I should have been. I was just telling people I had to. My son is heading back to college today, so he had to run to the airport. The wife and the girls are taking him, so we had to come to talk today about this elections. I think it's very important. The first branch of government, deciding the leadership for the first branch of government for the next 6 years, which is very important. The House of Representatives and the Liberian Senate. The House of Representatives is a little more contentious. I think the Senate is all but decided from what we have been seeing and what we've been hearing. is that there is a resolution that has been reached within the Senate that Senator Yomdi Kanga Lawrence will assume the role of pro tempore of the Liberian Senate. Second, she will be the second female to hold that position, the first being former Senator Grace B. Minor during the regime of former President Charles Taylor. Well, we can clearly see, taking into consideration if nothing really does happen dramatic between now and tomorrow, we can now say congratulations is in order to Yomdi and to Senator Lawrence for assuming that role and garnering the respect of her colleagues, getting their confidence and their trust. On the House of Representatives, on the other side, is a whole different story. There is a battle that is brewing, but I'm confident. I think that Funati Kofa is going to come off on top. I think this show is going to give us some opportunity to talk about why is it important to see if there's some kind of balance of power in place within the leadership of our country. But it's good to be here, guys. A great Sunday evening. Lo-Fi, it's good to see you. I want to welcome all of our viewers. Please share the show. This is not a closing argument. Normally don't come out on Sunday. I think we're on live on Across Africa. I'm seeing it on the top there. So we're on live on Across Africa closing argument page. We're gonna be adding more pages, but we look forward to having a firm and a great conversation. Dominic George, over to you, my brother.
Yes, Squatter. Of course, a win this Sunday in Pennsylvania, and good to be back on the closing argument, as you just said, Ben. The race for the Speaker for the 55th National Legislature is presently on. Within a few hours, we will see who becomes the Speaker of that new legislature. The 54th legislature session ends tomorrow, and by 12 o'clock noon, we should have a 55th legislature in place, because according to the Constitution, next week, Monday, before the president-elect and the vice president-elect take over office, the legislature needs to be assembled in joint session to perform that ceremony. So that's why it's key that the Speaker's election takes place tomorrow along with the pro tem. So by tomorrow, by this time, we have a new Speaker and a new pro tem. And this election, even though Ben said that some of the pro tem is already over, but again, this Liberia is a closed ballot, it's a secret ballot. Anything can happen tomorrow in the next couple of hours. So we'll look forward to that. But it's true that, yes, from all indications, Yomdi Kanga Lawrence is poised to be the new pro tem. And so we're discussing the Speaker issue today with the Speaker election. A lot's happened over the last couple of hours. We've issued about threats for going to the Supreme Court and accusing and counter-accusing and so forth. So we have to unpack everything and discuss it in detail. So welcome again to the closing argument, and we look forward to having a wonderful show tonight.
Lo-Fi? I think Lo-Fi.
Oh, well, definitely welcome everybody to all of our audience. Great to be here. Great Sunday. Like Ben rightfully said, we normally don't come on Sundays. We would have been preparing ourselves for Monday, but with the upcoming election, so I think it's only fair that we come on here. Hope all of you guys have yourself a wonderful, wonderful Sunday. Join us and do us a favor. Share the show. Invite other people to be a part of the conversation. Hopefully, we can use this opportunity to just enlighten our people to reality on ground. Some of the decisions that are going to be made. Hopefully, our guests can kind of give us, detail on some of the candidates that are in the race and tell us about their working relationship, what they know about these people, so that our people back home and abroad can be informed, because not a lot of us know about these individuals. And one thing I hope that will be discussed here is, why is it that these elections are secret? Shown these things be done in an open for people to know the decisions that are made, and so that people can have the opportunity to defend them in the near, not too distant future. That's something I really want to know. Hopefully, we can get some information on that. But it's great to be back here again today. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you, Lo-Fi. And like we said, we're going to be looking forward to having a conversation with some of these folks today. Let's talk about. I mean, we can jump into this thing. I think we're here for just 2 hours, so this is not an all day thing. Let's jump right into this thing and try to and have a firm and a strong conversation here. Tomlin George, let me ask you, why is it important? Why is it important for why is it what is the importance of a real balance of power going into our democracy? I mean, we already see there's been already early signs from the incoming administration, from the president-elect, calling representatives, trying to influence them, trying to induce them to go a specific way. Why is it important for there to be a balance of power going into these elections? In 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 clear cut terms, why is it important for Fonati Kofa to win this thing tomorrow?
Well, election results. I think since our country history, the first time we had a very close presidential election. The results were very close. President-elect Boakai won 50.6 of the electorate, and the outgoing president George Weah won 49.3%. So very close election, and as a result, the country is divided. It shows that the country is very divided, and you need a complete check and balance. You need a legislature, especially the first branch of the government, that will be able to ensure that the 49.3% of the people and the rest of the country are all part of this new moment feed that's coming in the country. So it's important that the opposition, which for Nigeria comes from the opposition, they take control of the House. Because the House, where bills comes from, and it starts in the House. It's important and key, so that because already we're seeing signs of the president-elect by him even calling lawmakers to his residence. And I mean, if I should go by what Representative Bawe said, they will offer $25,000, even though we know he tried to change it after they pressure him, try to walk by his comments. But it shows you that if we're not careful, if the UP controls the three branches of the government, we're heading to problems. So it's important that you have some check and balance on the power of the incoming president. So that's why it's key that tomorrow the opposition, the majority bloc, go to work tomorrow and try the best to elect Fonati Kofa as the next speaker of the 55th session. And so we look forward to that. Even though I watch his opponent Richard Kuhn, but from what I saw him yesterday, I mean, it shows some danger will come if they make the mistake and allow him to be the speaker tomorrow. I think we're heading in the wrong direction. I'm very sure of that. So it's important that the majority bloc come together and ensure that Fonati wins the speakership, so that we have a balanced government.
And let's also state for the record, Liberians did vote for divided government. Let's state for the record, the country. Forget the presidential alone, right? Because we can talk about the presidential being razor thin, less than 17,000 votes or so between President Weah and now President-elect Joe Boakai. But look at the national legislature. If you look at the actual numbers in the Senate, those who CDC, I believe, has 11 senators, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
They have 11 senators. The Unity Party doesn't have that much senators. If you look at the House of Representatives, I think the Unity Party only has 7 members who are card-holding members of the Unity Party. Yes, they have been able to coerce or get some people to kind of join ranks with them. But let's also state for the record that the Liberian people actually did vote for divided government. The Liberian people did not give a sweeping mandate to the Unity Party. This is by far totally different from what happened in 2017. So it clearly shows that the people are looking forward to seeing a divided government that is able to provide check and balances on one another. So people, I want you to come in on here as far as the importance of why we should even listen to the voters, because this election in the House is not going to be Liberians going to go vote generally. It's their representatives that are going to go vote. And like I said, in the general election, the people made a determination that they wanted divided government. That's the reason why they voted the way they did. What say you about about that trend, and why is it important for to not have what we had in the last 6 years?
Well, it's very clear, and that's why the balance of power is very, very important. The people voted, so there was not a clear mandate here for Joseph Parker. I mean, it was not it's not a very clear mandate here. But as you see that the people voted for divided government. That's why it is important for the majority bloc to hold together. Like we were talking, I read an article this morning from the front page newspaper, one of the most leading newspaper in Liberia, internationally as well, confirming that some of the senator, even from the majority bloc, were offered $40,000 to support Senator Yomikanga. And what surprised me more was that the former pro temp, our chief, was one of the heading that committee to actually convince other members of the majority bloc. He's technically dividing the majority bloc at the moment because they are now switching sides and based on that. But it is very important to listen to the voters because they voted for you the way they voted, and those who were voted for by the majority bloc, they need to listen to the voter because if they are taking side now or they turn to take another side, this could come back to haunt them in the future because the people voted the way they voted, and I think it is important to listen to the direction that people voted for the union. But it's very important to take a look, and that's why we need that balance of power.
Thank you, Peabody. And yes, so I agree with you on that. Tommy, let's talk about Richard Combs. Let's talk about Richard Combs. Who is this guy? He's clearly he's a second term lawmaker, right? He got reelected in 2017. Relatively unknown nationally. I mean, he represents, I think, district number 11 or one of those districts in Montserrat County.
District 11. District 11, yeah.
District 11 is my in the Bahamas Bay area there, that Sumaya Drive area, that's where he's from. I'm trying to understand why is the Unity Party fighting so hard to make this man speaker? I mean, what do they have up their sleeves? Because let us not forget, Natomini, I've always said over and over that corruption was institutionalized in the national legislature under the Unity Party-led government. So why do you think? Why do you think there's this angst to get him elected, even though he does not enjoy a vast majority of his colleagues?
Well, if I listened to him yesterday, well, he had a mind to even to say that they were filing some injunction on for Nati, and that he will be served as an individual and not as a majority bloc, whatever the case, and that he was talking about how he bring reforms to the if he becomes speaker, and he talking about personal projects that he been undertaking in his district, and as he was being pushed and grilled by the guys yesterday, he appeared to be lost, and he especially when they're asking about whether he would institute or call for reform or for audit of the legislature, he kept talking about numbers and so forth. But from all indication, Ben, it's no secret that there must have been some plan that after that they met with the president-elect, there must be a plan that, look, we must ensure that we take the speaker position of the House to have control over both houses, because it's important for whatever we want to do. But to the fact that they are even planning to tomorrow morning, I heard that by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning they're trying to issue a court, some go Supreme Court and stop for Nati from contesting, whatever the case, and therefore him to have the numbers for him to run. And what he said yesterday, it doesn't matter if even he's been served, the election can still go on. And I can tell you, if from what I'm hearing also from the other side, if any attempt to try what they want to do tomorrow, the majority bloc will insist there will be no election. And come next week, Monday, if there's no election, no speaker, no deputy speaker to have the call for a quorum for the joint session to meet, no election will not go on. I don't think that's what they want to see happen. So whatever plans they have for tomorrow, they better think about rethink about withdrawing that plan, because it's going to affect them. And by 12 o'clock on Monday next week, if Joe we hasn't want to take the country water, we reach a constitutional crisis, and I don't think we want to reach to that point. So Richard Coon, I think he's just desperate. He wanted to occupy that position for some selfish reason. I don't think he doing it for the interest of the country, because if that's the case, he shouldn't be going to the court, and where he also being questioned to be you were born in Nigeria or Nigerian citizen, whatever the case, all the things coming up on him too. So tomorrow you won't see them issuing court prohibition tomorrow that he can't run, the person can't run. We'll be in a mess. So I just hope that they rethinking their plans for tomorrow and allow this process to take place and so forth. He claimed yesterday he having a show votes of 30-something person that will vote for him. He 100% showed that on Tuesday night he will be celebrating his victory. So we look forward to seeing it. But let them open up, open the race up, and let it go to the election tomorrow, and so forth. But again, Ben, just to end, I really don't blame these guys, because I'm surprised that even the CDC guys will surrender. I mean, if you want it for the pro tem, they should have gone for a fight. Go for it. But apparently they left a Boston guy in the cold. Boston guy, he came out, he was one who was a leading guy to run, and they apparently have abandoned him and so forth. But so this one give the guys the audacity to say, look, we're gonna take both houses. Because I'm sure if they had put a fire for the pro tem instead of surrendering, I don't think Richard Coon will be having the guts to be fighting to stop Fonati and claiming that he'll be a next speaker. So I think Ben is all about selfish reasons, nothing else, nothing more.
So my question to you, Lofa, is why not allow the process to play itself out? Let's be fair. Okay, why try to throw a monkey wrench into this thing about citizenship at this point, when some of these very people voted for Fonati Kofa as deputy speaker in the 54th, right? Richard Coon, in fact, from my investigation, Richard Coon was a strong supporter of Fonati Kofa in the last 54th. And I mean, at this time, what did he not know? Well, that he, according to them, that he was an American. Why do you think there is all these monkey wrench being thrown around, and there's an effort on the part of the Unity Party to control everything, pretty much?
Well, Ben, part of the reason why the Unity Party would do whatever they are doing is because I guess that is just the nature of how things have been run over time at the House. And they have never been about, the people or policy-driven issues to actually represent the people. At this point, we are faced with, we are between two hard rocks. Fonati Kofa is also not the person that I can put my hands up and say, yes, this guy here. Looking at Coon, I can't either. So it's difficult for anybody to sit here and rationally say, I would prefer Fonati Kofa. Because if we are to look at it, Fonati Kofa himself, why he served in the House, I don't know what I can really point to say, yes, this guy stood up for something and he did this, and these are things that were done that benefited or that is benefiting Liberian based on policy, legislative or implementations. I can't speak to that. Looking at Coon, based on what they do in there. Again, remember, you and I, Ben, we are not in there. So we don't see what they do. And that's part of the reason why I asked the question, why is it that these elections are held behind closed door? Why is it that they are not having these elections in the open so we can hold people accountable for their votes? And when we look at it, I think their justification for why they voted or supported him the last time is because at that time, I guess the new new law of the citizenship law was not yet implemented. It was not yet in place. So this time around, they want to test the water. They want to test the system. And to be honest with you, I think it's fair. I think it's fair for them to go ahead and test it, but let them just allow the process to play out. If they decide to do that, then CDC themselves should be able to also counter what they are going to do. But I think right now, we are literally faced with too hard rock because I cannot select any person. First of all, here we are now. Take a look at this. Yumbi Kanga Lawrence, Senate Pro Tem. Okay, this is a woman who did everything she could to divide her political party, literally separated the political party simply because of her own selfish interest. Do you really think Yumbi is going to come in to protect anything that is about Liberia? No, it's not. It's not about Liberia, Ben. You and I, you know this, and I'm pretty sure all of us on here we know this. So they have a senator motive, and they will definitely make sure that it is achieved.
And let me say this. So first of all, there is. I want us. There has to be a context to this thing. And Lofa, just reacting to what you said earlier. I think one of the things that we need to look in, we need to see here is, first of all, there's no angel in this devil's world, right?
Agree.
And the truth of the matter is, guess what? You could. I don't know what the Constitution say though, but I know, according to the United States Constitution, someone who is not a member of the House can get voted as Speaker. You know that, right?
Oh, really?
According to the U.S. Constitution, you can. There was one point in time they were talking about making Trump the Speaker.
Oh, you're talking about the U.S. Constitution. Oh, I thought you were talking about Nigeria.
We had the deadlock with Kevin McCarthy.
Yeah.
There were all these votes and kept going and going and going, and the Freedom Caucus said, you know what? Well, let elect Trump. In fact, someone actually wrote his name in.
Yeah.
Someone actually wrote his name. They voted for Trump. I don't know if that works with Liberia, right? But I don't think so. I don't want to believe so. The reason I bring that up is to address what you were saying earlier about about being stuck between a rock and a hard place. Yes,
right.
We are stuck between a rock and a hard place. There's no perfection in the national legislature. There's no perfection in our politics as a whole, right? Look at what happened in 2020 in the last election. The same choice that we had in 2017 is the same choice that the Liberian people gave us again in 2023. So I'm looking at it, and if we're looking at legislative achievements, Kofa has a long legislative achievement record. I mean, I have some of the information here I will share.
There you go.
For people to see, right? Kofa is credited for building 5 schools in his district in 6 years. On matchable feet. I'm talking about bills. Kofa is the one who championed the dual citizenship bill in the House.
Ben, can I just interject real quick though? When you say he's credited for building 5 schools, those are individual accomplishments. We cannot count those things as legislative accomplishment though. Those are
no. What I'm trying to say, though, he did it under. Right? He did it under the auspices of him being the representative. Yes, it was not government funding, right? Okay. But he did it under the auspices that he was their representative. That's what I was trying to highlight. The second thing I was trying to talk about from an accomplishment standpoint, Kofa was the one that championed the dual citizenship bill. Kofa is the one that champions the War Crimes Code bill with what her name? Rosalynn Swakogo Dennis, who lost. Okay. Kofa was one of the ones. In fact, one of the fallout that Kofa had with Buffer Chimba is that Buffer Chimba refused to put that bill on the floor. So again, like I said, that we can talk about their record. We can talk about their record. We can talk about this is what we have to deal with, Lofa. We have 2 choices that we got to pick from. Do we rather want a Cone who literally in the last 3 weeks just popped up from nowhere because the Unity Party decided that they want a puppeteer to control because the speaker is a very powerful position. The speaker determines what goes on the floor. Guess what? Unlike the Senate, where committees are elected, in the House of Representatives, the speaker appoints the committees. He appoints the head of those committees until they change that rule. But that is the rule they have right now. So if Kofa gets elected tomorrow, Kofa has the power to appoint the head of all of the committees, obviously in consultation with his bloc. So I can tell you why it is important, why the Unity Party wants to control this. Because guess what? The next debate, right? And then people can come in. Do you know what the next debate? The next debate that they're about to talk about? The national budget. The 54th. Even though we have submitted the budget to the 54th, but the 54th, all of their own wisdom saying that, listen, we on our way out, right? There's a new government coming. Let's leave it for the 55th. That is the next big conversation. That's the next big debate that is going to the national to the House of Representatives. You can understand why they want to control everything. Peabody, you can come in.
Let me say this. CDC is the majority bloc. There's no way that they can sit there and allow the Unity Party. Joe Barker was elected. He came in with clean hand that, hey, he everywhere you pass with Liberian, he's the only one. He's never been corrupt. He's never been in any problem. All of that. Why are you calling people? Why not let it play out? Let the people elect who they want. Why are you bringing people and trying to offer them $25,000 for them to go and vote for you or for the person you bring? Coon does not come in there with clean hands. So if we talk about somebody committing crime and this person, the fact is true. I think Mr. Kofa has admitted that he committed crime. He served his time. He completed everything, and he's moving on. He went back to Liberia. He was appointed the chief prosecutor by President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf when she wanted to for those who took money and other things to be persecuted. And Mr. Kofa left that group. He was appointed by President Sirleaf. He worked there. He's done a phenomenal job. He was elected as deputy speaker. They all voted. They all saw the leadership role that he demonstrated. Okay, Mr. Coon on the other side, you talking that Mr. Kofa is not clean, UP, but Mr. Coon on the other side have been entangled into a lot of that. He's been involved with different. 1 minute he got Nigerian passport. 1 minute he's been involved in other corrupt practices. So the fact is, let the situation play out. Give the people a chance. Let them select. That's why you elected a democratic election. You won this election. President, we are conceded and let you go. Now, why are you calling people, bribing them? That is totally unacceptable. You're not even taking seat yet. And why you want to call? You know how many people got citizenship that are in the Senate? I mean, if we start naming names right now, every one of them in that Senate have citizenship. A lot of them, key figure have citizenship. And you are hiding and say you want to take this to court, that this person has a U.S. passport, all of that. That would be a very serious mistake to make. Let's be honest here. But we call spade a spade. Somebody come in and say, you know what? I did this. This is it. But the amount of time he had worked with the government, President Sirleaf government for almost 12 years or more, work with President Weah government. It's not the time you're coming out to talk about citizenship. I don't think Supreme Court need to buy into that nonsense. That complete nonsense of trying to stop somebody based on citizenship. But I think if this play out to be very free and fair, Francisco will be the next senator because he already has a block. You have over 40 people attending. But the idea of giving senator $40,000 to support your candidate, that's wrong. That's something that came up in from Africa today. That each senator will offer 14 grand. Read the pay. I'll find out and send it to you. No faster you can put it up. 40,000 each. And you know who was leading that? Who was leading that? The guy who was just sanctioned by the U.S. government for visa fraud. Was just sanctioned by the U.S. government denied visa. Our chair was the one sitting up there, getting people to sign, and they'll offer them $40,000. What? Why would even senator Yomdi want to sit with a guy like that? There's no protocols. Look, I'll stop right there.
Robert, welcome to the show. Maybe we can just get you to jump in, and then Tommy and Lofa can come back in. But I wanted to bring something up. And Lofa, I sent you something regarding on a Cross Africa number on WhatsApp. So check it.
Oh, okay.
Let me say this. Look. Again, we need to stop looking for angels in the devil's world. I'm sorry. This is one. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just being real. One of the things that I like is that we have to understand the country that we have. We just got to understand the country that we have. I'm sorry. You heard Prince Johnson today. Prince Johnson was preaching today. He was threatening Richard Coon. He was threatening Yeke. He was threatening, who else the other person he threatened today? Because I was writing it down.
Yeke, Richard Quinn, and Verdia.
And Verdia.
Jerome Verdia.
He was threatening them today.
Yeah, but Ben, Prince Johnson, because Richard Quinn said he would drag.
Richard Quinn said he would support war crimes code. He said he's in support of war crimes code, right? So the reason I'm bringing this up, guys, the reason I'm bringing this up, guys, is this is the country that we have. These players are not changing. Prince Johnson, you have to deal with Prince Johnson for the next 9 years. 9 years. Right? So I am only saying, and guess what? This is Prince Johnson, what? Third term. Right?
Right.
And I stand to be corrected. He is possibly the only senator right now that enjoys a third term.
Yes.
I don't know nobody else in that national legislature.
Yes, he's the only one.
He's the only person. This is the country we're dealing with, Lofa. This is the country we're dealing with, right? This is the country that said they wanted change, but opted to bring the party that was there 12 years ago to contest against the ruling party in a runoff. This is the country that you're dealing with. And you will see people defend it to the core. Yeke. All of what Yeke did over the last 6 years, Robert, today, Yeke is being branded as a crazy man by people who encouraged him in the last 6 years. This is the country we're dealing with. So the quicker we realize that there are no angels in this devil's world that we're dealing with, the better off we will be. But for anybody to phantom, for anybody to think that Richard Quinn, who 2 weeks ago, I mean, can you imagine Richard Quinn as Speaker of the House under President Buckeye, with Yombly as President Pro Tem of the Senate? And this is what Unity Party criticized over the last 6 years. That CDC had everything. And so as a result of that, in fact, when you push some of the Unity Parties and legislators, Lofa, what did they used to say? We don't control the House. We can't talk. We don't control the gavel. That's what they used to say. So, Robert, I want you to come in. And for me, I am not going to sit and try to make or create my own reality. I'm going to deal with the reality that we have today. On any day, Richard Quinn cannot be compared to Fonati on even his best day. When it comes to legislative achievements, when it comes to networking, when it comes to lobbying, when it comes to having the confidence of his peers, I'm sorry. And then, like I said, I don't think this is also about obstructionism. I don't think it's about trying to obstruct the president's agenda. This is also just about checks and balances so that it doesn't come across as, oh, everything is just going hockey-lucky. But Robert, you can come in and chime in. And then Lofa, I think you want to say something there after.
Well, yeah, definitely.
No, go ahead, Lofa. Go ahead.
Quickly, let me just say this. The issue of the citizenship, I just want to highlight that. If it is the law, we cannot simply ignore that, Ben. If the law states that Fonati Kofa, being a citizen of the United States, should not serve in that position, it should not be ignored. If they decide to go to court, it is their right to go to court. Let us test the system legally. I mean, you and I were right here during the elections when Mr. Cummings was dragged to court for some dubious claim. Yombi Kanga, who is now running to serve, who allegedly is in possession of a U.S. citizenship, was actually in support of all of that. Okay, but he allowed the system to play out. So if they want to go to court, let them go to court. But let me remind you, Ben, this is not today's problem. During the CDC time, similar thing happened. The brown envelope was rolling around in the house. And this is, I understand when you say this is what we are faced with. But at what point do we start to say we must stop it? Do we continue to just roll the ball and then continue to be victimized, or we must stand up and at some point in time and say, no, we see where Fonati Kofa, at this point in time, the point that you made about their success, their records, these are the things that I think we should be basing our focus on. Now, what have they done?
Right.
But we have two individuals who basically, per my view, in my opinion, and I'm reading the information you sent me. I will share with the audience, but I see both of them almost the same until I have substantial evidence to convince me as to why Fonati Kofa is better than Kun. I still see both of them the same. Just like I see,
and you
just
see,
like
that's
I
the
see,
beauty.
like I see, Madam Yombi Kanga Lawrence is just as corrupt as the man in the house.
So, Rabbi, before you come in 30 seconds, I want to make some clarity here. First of all, that's the beauty of the closing argument.
Yeah.
Just for the record, right?
Yeah.
That's the beauty of the closing argument. We're not the other conspiracy theories platforms where we all sing according to the tone, right? So which is fine. But I want to make a clarification.
Mm-hmm.
I am not questioning the Unity Party's right to go to the court. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, let's call a spade a spade.
Mm-hmm.
Fonati has not admitted that he's a U.S. citizen. He hasn't. The passport that's out there, we've seen passports flying all over the place from everybody. So Fonati has not admitted that he's a U.S. citizen. They're bringing it up because you heard Amos Twer. Amos Twer said that we are in an election, right? We will either, if we can't beat him, we will do everything to stop him. I got no issue. I think that it is well within the Unity Party right to exhaust the court option. The only danger that they are faced with, though, is that, and this is where some of us are talking, because we are staring down a potential constitutional crisis.
Okay.
Because if the speaker election is halted, then Joe Boyka is not going to get inaugurated. Because according to the Constitution, the Speaker of the House have to convene a joint session of the National Legislature. For it's a legislature. Now, when you read the invitation for the inauguration, the invitation comes from the Speaker. Because it's a legislative function that happens for the president to get inaugurated. So I support if the Unity Party won't go to court, I got no issue with them going to court. I would be the last person to say Unity Party shouldn't go to court. The only thing I'm trying to say is I'm trying to call out the hypocrisy because Fonati has not admitted that he's a U.S. citizen. We've seen a passport that we not see passport for Yombly. We not see passport for maybe Joe Boyka Sierra Leone passport may come out. Maybe you never know. So my thing is, we need to stop that musical chairs. So I agree with you, and I'm not saying we should discourage them from going to the court. No, that's not what I'm saying. Okay. I'm just saying this is a delayed tactic because they fear they don't have the numbers to win the election. That's all. I just wanted to state for the record.
Fair. That's it.
What's his name? Robert, come in and welcome to Larry and Representative Gregg.
Thank you. It's great to be on. But let a few things I want to touch on. I want to piggyback off where Lofa left off. He talked about we must stand up. I concur with you, Lofa. We have to stand up because the law is the law. But to Ben's point, I believe what has been the case is that you can't stand up if, one, you do not have a seat at the table, or two, if you're not one of the players. Now, the players that are tasked or clothed with the responsibility to uphold the law, and not just make the law, to uphold the law, are also in violation of the very law that they should be upholding. So it makes it difficult to stand up from a private citizen perspective. Now, there's a lot of things we can do. We can protest. We can demand. We can make demands. We can call our representatives, our senators, and demand that they do what we ask them to do because they work for us. There are lots of things that we can do, but are the constituents in Liberia, are they educated with regards to what kinds of demands they can make from those who represents them, especially their representatives? And so it's kind of hard to discuss these things, and because the law is the law, you can't just ignore the citizenship part. But what's happening, the reason why we're having this discussion right now is you can't pick and choose when the law must apply. You can't pick and choose when the law must apply, only because now the law is in your favor when it comes to a political trick. And so we've heard all of these guys saying if you haul rope, rope will haul bush or whatever terminology that is, and this is exactly what they mean. Because it's hypocritical for any lawmaker who holds not only a U.S. passport, but a European passport and other citizenship, who have ran for offices, who currently occupy positions under that particular law, to say, well, you know what, this guy should be disqualified on grounds that he's a United States citizen. That's one. Two, before this new, I call it the visa waiver program, which we have rejected because look, we are natural born Liberian citizens. I don't give a damn what you think about me. I don't care what you think and how long I've been in these United States, where I went to college, where I went to high school. That's your business. The fact that I'm a natural born Liberian citizen makes it difficult for our lawmakers. And I would like to have a conversation with Representative Gray and any of the other representatives as to how these things are debated in Congress. It has to make sense. You can't strip my constitutional rights only because I have a citizenship of a different country or because I have a passport in this very country. This country does not talk about,
or because they're threatening you politically.
Thank you. Or because you feel like, this guy is coming from America. He went to a Harvard, school, and or because he presents a competition to me. The laws are not created that way. We should embrace competition. In fact, we should embrace great competition. This is what makes this is what great countries are made of. We should put our best and brightest minds out there and let the best men win, right? This is what it should be about. But until we start electing people, until we start electing leaders that will stand up without worrying about their belly, without worrying about, what the president will say or what this will say, we will continue to have these kind of issues that we have currently. The last time I spoke about the lawmakers making themselves available to the president, and the fact that the president, look, do you think President Biden, let me say President Biden, do you think President-elect Joseph Boakai, if I was in the position that Councilor Fanatic Kofa is in right now, do you think President Biden or JMB will actually call me to his house or his office and look in my face and tell me, I need you to just go ahead and leave the speakership? This would never happen. It would never, I can guarantee you it would never happen. There are conversations and there are calls that are made, and people can preempt them. People know who to make certain calls to, and people know who to put forth certain proposals. These lawmakers have created an environment where they are underestimated, where they are undervalued, where they are told to do things that the executive should not be telling them to do. They don't understand our core responsibility. They don't value that branch of government. They don't even understand that they are there for a specific reason, which is check and balance. They don't understand that. And so when these calls are made, Ben talked about bribing and $40,000, these offers are being made because it has been proved in the past that lawmakers are easily bought. These discussions are not made on political lines, Ben Sanvi. These discussions are made from the belly of our lawmakers because they are greedy. They don't care about their constituents. And so this is where we find ourselves.
We'll come back to you. Let's welcome Larry and Representative Gray, and then Peabody and Dominic can jump in at any time. Larry, you want to come in quickly, and then Representative Gray, you want to do your opinion? We're just having a general discussion about the elections tomorrow. Why is it, personally, I feel it's important that we elect Fanatic Kofa because we need a balance of power in the country. Two, because I think when you compare these two men, like I said, Richard Coon cannot even be Fanatic Kofa on his best day. I know Richard Coon. I know his record. These are the two choices we have.
Ben, I'm so sorry. 10 seconds. I wanted to say this. And by the way, there was a law before the dual citizenship law passed. Yeah. There was a gentleman who took the government to court, and the Supreme Court have ruled, and this ruling stands. You cannot automatically take away a person's citizenship
Yeah.
until due process has been offered. So
Yeah.
even if they took him to court, it still does not negate the fact that he can legally run and the election can be held until he's
Exactly.
offered due process. I just wanted to say that.
Exactly. Thank you. So Larry, come in. Yeah, like I said, this is just
Yeah. So I will piggyback off what my brother Robert just talked about. You can't have selective justice in a society, right? You can't on one hand saying you're going to enforce the law for dual citizenship. At the same time, you're violating the code of conduct as it comes to pay for play. Think about it. There are instances in this is the same reason why some people got sanctions. You can't come out start giving people money in order to play in your administration. You can't do that. It's not going to work because, like Ben Sandy mentioned early on, Kuhn just came in again at the very last second. This seems to be the usual game plan for United Party, coming at the last second and pushing someone forward. The other thing I want to mention is political loyalty. There seems to be no political loyalty because if my party seems to have the majority, it should be a non-debate in terms of who should have the speakership. It shouldn't even be a conversation. But the mere fact we're having this conversation goes to show that people believe there's no loyalty in the CDC and people will flip over just for money. So there seems to be no political loyalty in Liberia whatsoever. So that's why a lot of people are concerned. It goes back to what Kev said the last time we were on this show. You know, the majority party should have the speakership. That's kind of how it always is. No law mandating it. But simply because we know all of the CDC people, lawmakers, should vote for one of their own to become speaker. That's how it is. So I'm really just concerned. The thing I'm really concerned about is no one seems to be paying attention to some of the sanctions, the pay for play, all of the criticism. They seem to be ignoring it. And I said this time and time again. At the end of Madam Sirleaf administration, she missed it because Obama signed that thing in 2016. 2017 was just kicking off this whole Act, right? So in 2018, it started booking people around the world, and then it was up until I think it was 2020 that I think we had, who was it?
McGill.
No, it hit. I think it hit PYJ before
PYJ and Vonnie Sherman.
And then Vonnie Sherman, and then it really blew up. But that was just sanctioning people because now the game has changed. Now when you get sanctioned, you can get prosecuted. So you can't take commendations from Cory Booker, from Senator Coons.
They write you letters and then
exactly.
You're gonna preach fighting corruption and rule of law, and then you come back and the first major thing you do is pay for play.
You're not even inaugurated yet, Larry.
Exactly. That is so concerning. And again, I think you guys have said it time and time again on this show. It's usually the people advising some of these folks that are just a poor influence. Now, on this whole passport thing, you think it's easy to just come in the U.S. and get someone's citizenship records like that?
Thank you.
Exactly.
Who's talking this nonsense in Liberia that you can sue and get citizenship records? You know what it takes? Y'all can't be serious. I don't know if the people who are saying these things have ever lived in the U.S.
Especially when you haven't voted.
Larry, thank you so much.
They don't know how it works.
Let get
but I want to ask greater questions to him. He might factor my question.
Okay, good. Ask him a question, then he can use it as a way to come.
Great, good to see you again. But great. I listened to Richard Kuhn yesterday, and apparently there's a plan. He said that they're going to issue this stuff to Funati as an individual and not as a body, so that he will be stopped from contesting the election on the floor tomorrow because he said it's at 10 o'clock. So you've been in the legislature, you are a veteran of the legislature, you understand how it works. So my question is, I mean, is the majority black going? The guys going to, if they try to do that to stop him from contesting, the black will come up and say, "Well, no election." What's going to happen tomorrow?
So before Gray come in, Gray, 1 second. Kev will come in after you answer, then we get Peabody. So go ahead, Representative Gray.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me on the program. But I just want to be blunt that there is no way that the court can stop Funati and don't stop Kuhn. That's not possible. The same documents, the claim they have, we have similar documents. The same claims they have, we have similar claims. So it's a clear-cut political reciprocity. Legally, if the Supreme Court will act on the basis of their complaint, the court will also act on the basis of our complaint, seminal complaint. So I don't see the court stopping Fonati and not stopping Richard Coon. Okay, but the fellow that just spoke, he struck a very important point. The issue of citizenship by the Supreme Court ruling, besides the legislation will pass, is such a criminal matter that the state has to take cease of that. And it's a long bureaucratic arrangement. It's like taking someone to court for stealing money, for stealing public money, or killing someone. So it's not just about a civil law issue. The court, the Ministry of Justice has to find that probable cause before they can even go through the process. So if the Supreme Court, through a daredevil action, let me be specific, attempt to stop Fonati, we have to stop because we on top of our game. But the second portion you raise is that if Fonati is not going to bother people tomorrow, there will be no election. Let me repeat. If Fonati doesn't participate tomorrow, the majority will never allow election to go on. I just want to be very blunt with that. The United Party is doing it to themselves. Because the majority bloc, as I speak to you, they are on camp. The numbers are there. Okay? You'll be shocked. Even Joseph Boykai. I sat near two lawmakers that Joseph Boykai called two. Himself on the phone. Called them to talk to them. He lost Lofa, as I speak to you, all of 5. Fonati has 4. He lost Lofa absolutely. And that is a blow. So what they need to do tomorrow is to allow the process to go on peacefully. Whosoever wins, wins. But like they said, there will be a constitutional crisis if they attempt to do that. But I'm not worried. I can tell you, I'm not worried. I'm not even going to the Capitol building tomorrow. Okay, but I can assure you Fonati will be on the ballot paper. If it's not there, the devil from hell cannot stop him tomorrow from being on the ballot paper. Because the guys are resolved. The first thing Fonati has the quorum. That's the first thing. If Fonati people decide tomorrow that none of them will enter the hall, the guys cannot have a quorum. Because to have the election, there must first be a quorum. If they are 66, there must be a quorum of 34 persons. 66 cleared by the national election, 34 persons seated to have a quorum. When I'm talking about 41 persons, even if we take 2 off, at 39, how would they have this program survive? Bend about left, and because the program. Okay, but the guys are resolved, very resolved. Okay, so we don't want to take like real backward for somebody to dare dream in a closet that tomorrow, if you issue a rate on Fonati, the Supreme Court will have no option to issue a rate on Coon because they have to. You have to prove it. It's not just to go get one document and put it on Facebook. Maybe the court got to ask for the passport, the copy of the passport. The next thing here is that the time we take to prove it, it can be tomorrow. That's not possible. Coon also was born in Nigeria. One of the parents are Nigerian. The alien naturalization law is clear. It's not a debate. When you reach the age 23, at that point you must declare your. You don't even need passport business. For Kumu is gone. You don't need no lawyer needs to 23. They stipulated the age. You must declare your citizenship. The man went to the court. That's the court document. We got it from the court. Okay, the document we publish is not a falsified document. It's a document. Okay, I didn't listen to you. Someone say they withdraw that court issue, but whether they withdraw or not, their eyes at the court. We have eyes at the court. So maybe tomorrow they will come to the Saturday and their supporters will start the process and say no election tomorrow. But for us, we're ready to go to the election to defeat them.
Thank you. Thank you, Representative.
They will defeat them.
Yeah, but one last question. Great. So great. So what happens?
Let me just say this. Before you go to Kyiv, I beg you. The guys know they can't win. That's why they're trying to filibuster. They can filibuster for now till Friday, they will still be defeated. They will still be defeated. Because as they think they have strategy, we have more strategy. Roger Coon is, as someone said, Coon is not depending on his strength. He's depending on the executive. He's depending on Jeremiah Coon. He's depending on Joseph Boyka. I'm not telling you, they say, I saw that the president-elect is calling lawmakers on their phones. Some people are refusing to answer a phone call. Okay, in case the guys will call you and play it tonight. Like the fellow said, you can call me if I was great. If I'm a lawmaker, you know, you can know your phone to call me. Okay, so in case the guys go and play your voice, here's what you are asking for. That desperation. So as a result of that, we are prepared tomorrow for any every eventuality. I can guarantee you that this is the CDC speaking to. We will never, if Fanatu will go and get defeated on the ticket, will accept that result. I can guarantee you that. But we'll never sit in this country, never in our lifetime.
Well, we are having some issues with him. He's freezing. So tell me when he come back. Yeah, Kev,
what are you?
Okay, I think we got him now. Okay, Kev, come.
I think he needs to go off and come back on.
Representative Gray, you're having some technical issues, so I think you need to go.
Yeah, I'm on now.
Yeah, okay, we can hear you.
Go.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry because my location, you know, I left to come somewhere to talk to you people. But yeah, I didn't want the show to, you know, that we're all absent because most of the lawmakers are engaged as I speak to you, okay, with their black engagements. But the fact of the matter here, go and rest yourself. Everyone that listening, United Party can stop Fanati. Even the Supreme Court cannot stop him tomorrow. I can guarantee you that. It's not possible. If they stop Fanati, there will be no inauguration on Monday. Because we use our majority bloc not to sit. If it means we'll go to the lawmaker houses, our elected lawmaker and hold it, on that day we'll do it. We're not going to listen, as these people say now and playing fun right? It will hold our lawmaker for now going on the 22nd to the inauguration. As constituents, we will do it to the citizen lawmakers and those who support us. If Joseph Boyka is listening, entire United Party, the best thing to do is to make sure the election goes on tomorrow. That's the best thing to do. Otherwise, even Joseph Boyka, who has a Sierra citizenship, will be challenged on Thursday or Friday. If the court will act on rumor or mere paper and document, the court will have to reciprocate that. And I don't think, let me say this, I'm hearing. Yeah, I'm hearing that the international partners have been calling them. I'm hearing ECOWAS have been greatly involved into it. And other people, it left with them. For us,
thank you.
It will even be in our favor. Joseph Boyka is now inducted into office on next Monday. When they have nothing to lose.
Thank you, Representative Gray.
That's how.
Ben, can I make a quick clarity here, real quick?
What's up with
Yeah. So if they want to sacrifice the, the president, we all want peace.
Yeah,
but if they want to sacrifice the presidency, yeah.
Representative Gray, I beg you 1 second.
30 seconds. If they want to sacrifice the presidency, yeah, if they want to sacrifice the presidency tomorrow for the speaker, United Party does not, they want that game. Tomorrow, watch and see. Tomorrow, watch and see. Just watch tomorrow. You will be shocked.
So Kev,
we're not going to say allow that to happen.
That's why I want Kev to come in on, and you just get a good segue into what I want Kev to come in on. Why I've never seen a party win an election A close election, by the way, right? Look, we could not even be sitting here today having this conversation. All George Weah needed to do was to say, I lost by less than 17,000 votes. I'm challenging these results. Guess what? He's still the president.
Yes, simple.
I mean, all the CDC needed to do was to say, look, and like I said earlier in my opening, Kev, the Liberian people voted for divided government. They did. The executive was decided by less than 17,000 votes. The Unity Party as an institution holds no majority in any one of the chambers in the legislature. As a party and as an alliance, what has happened has been a bunch of horse trading here and there, right? People moving, people trying to curry favor with the executive. But you have Fonati who has been able to hold his block so strong because he's been working on this for the last 6 years. You can think about it, right? Kev, I want you to come in. Why do you think the Unity Party, it's almost like they're on a suicide mission? Because like Gray has said, you are the one going to go get inaugurated on what do you think? I want you to go in the Unity Party head, Kev. What do you think is happening here? What are they looking really for a constitutional crisis though?
Well, let me say hi. They feel entitled. They feel like the country for them. They feel like they can do anything and say anything and get away with that. That's what the Unity Party feel. As we speak, they're going to offices, government offices, demanding, asking folks about, hey, in the past 6 years, what country you traveled to? As we speak, they're going into the offices and pushing people, asking for irrelevant issues. So they feel entitled. They feel that's the country. They don't feel that Kufuor should run. They don't care. They believe that the whole country should be under Unity Party control because that's their country. So in their minds, they say, okay, post-war, we are the only government that the entire world recognized. We fix our country, the country for us. Who dare you, CDC, to come? So what? Even though they won the election, they're still angry. They're still bitter. They're still going after people. But let me ask Honorable Gray this question, because I know Kufuor will take part in the election tomorrow. If the election tomorrow, how Kufuor stand? Will Kufuor be the next Speaker of the Republic of Liberia? Yes, for you, Honorable Gray.
I think he got back.
I think he's frozen.
Okay, I think.
Oh no, he's back.
A delay, yeah. Representative Gray, can you hear? Okay.
I'll have to speak on a prejudice because I support. You getting me?
Yes, go ahead.
You getting me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting you. You get?
Yeah, go ahead. We can hear you. There's just
now?
a delay. Go ahead. Yes, there's just a delay. That's all. Go ahead.
Are you getting me? Okay, you getting me clear now?
Yes.
Okay. We all know that Kufuor is on the verge of winning. We know that Kufuor is fully cognizant of that. That Kufuor is on the verge of winning. That's why they want to start the process. But I want to put myself on record again. It's not a threat, it's a reality. That even George Weah will not stop us if Kufuor is not on the ballot. Tomorrow, if Kufuor is, we've given too much. We've been very peaceful since the results were announced. We saved the state by accepting the results. We believe in the doctrine of political participation. We go into that election, we put up a candidate called Fonati Kufuor, not anybody, Supreme Court of the Republic of Liberia, to stop him from contesting tomorrow. Because it's a long-winded battle to prevent anybody on the basis of citizenship to prevent that person from participating in the election. It's like the Minister of Justice, the Attorney General, they got to take case to the court, to the lower court before it goes to the upper court. So under a dead devil that will sit as Associate Justice at the Supreme Court and want to issue such a rate. Because if you issue that rate, similar rate will have to be issued on our Richard Coon. So we're optimistic, we are upbeat. Just how they are upbeat, just how they are optimistic, let them go to the process. If they are boasting of numbers, let them go to the process. Because you think the Pandora box that the United Party has opened, like I said on your show the last time, and they started calling me, oh, you know, great, don't say that. You know, this other person, you've been knowing them for long. Why you call you been knowing people for long, and you question somebody on an account that you are similar guilty of? What do you mean, man? The man who Joseph Boyka want to make Minister of State, he's an American citizen. It's not a debate. Joseph Boyka is buying Army home for $1 million. Is that not the former chairman of the Unity Party? Is that not in-horse trading? Oh, because we mute? Because George Weah announced that we should accept the results? Look at what happened in Nima County. There's a real one. Even in Maryland, there's a real run. With 17,000 votes to 20,000 votes, we said let it be so, and that force ahead. And somebody wants to rob us? You want to rob us? You want to plunge the country into chaos? Into serious constitutional chaos? You think you want the CDC? They ain't want the CDC. We are not satisfied. But we decided for the survival of the country to sit and look back. You know, some of us were not talking. You know, we did everything for the party now to make some statements so that we can remain quiet, so that we cannot undermine the smooth transition of the country. We did extremely well behind the scene, talking to everybody, quieting our people. You think even in District 8 here, we'll sit here, somebody will march to that place and tell us, say, tomorrow, and Kofa will be off? You know who is Kofa to us? Kofa is somebody who represents our hope and aspiration in the government. As a political institution, as a black, we need a voice. We gave them deputy speaker position here on Sewa Plateau. I serve as pool washer for Prince Moi. Talking to CDC lawmakers, insisting that we must give the Unity Party the deputy speaker position. They never had the numbers. We fought on that. We did that. Today, some of our senators, yesterday, they were saying, okay, the way it's looking like, you know, if you control the lower and the other people, that make some sacrifices, and they want to do what? To harm us? Who is Richard Coon? Let's be realistic. Does Coon have the capacity on his own? Did he build relationship? Do we need a puppet speaker? He will be the worst speaker in his chairman on the executive. Because the chairman on the executive must come from the ruling party. It's not an if and then about that. That's a very powerful position. Why they couldn't settle down for deputy speaker position when in fact they knew that they didn't have the number. They want to cause chaos, and I want to use this occasion. Like I've been talking to some religious leaders and people in the international community. I want to call on the religious leader tonight. I want to call on our international partners, the U.S. Embassy, the AU, the EU, the African Union, the ECOWAS, all other partners, including the prep people of Joseph Boyka, the church he can go to. They need to go to him because he's directly involved. Today in the Senate, by tomorrow, Prince Moi may become the chairman on Westminster Finance. Amara will become, hopefully, the chairman on the Public Accounts Committee. The whole plot of this battle by the Unity Party is to take charge of the budget and squander the resources of the country. That's what Jeremiah Coon is fighting for. That's what they want. That's what every one of them fighting for. Look at Jeremiah Coon. Listen to him. I mean, Richard Coon. Listen to Richard Coon we're contesting. His entire debate is the budget. Follow the debate. The legislature is not just about the budget. There are concessions. There are laws to affect the youth. There are laws to affect the health sector. There are laws to affect the educational sector. They are inheriting over 40,000 students at public universities, at public schools, and WASP fees to pay. Those are things they are inheriting. They all the talk, the budget. Richard Kuhn, the only thing he spoke about, the budget. They want to pay Joseph Boyka $1 million for the new horse and coming move to Boston Junction after using $500,000 on the horse and rehab. You all know it's an open secret. The EPS is deployed there as I speak to you. The police, they are deployed there as I speak to you. Right at Shopley Junction at Boston intersection there. Okay? There's somebody who say you live on loan. We've not gone nowhere. People talking about a pay for play. They're talking about bribery. You calling people to ask them to back off from the election? Can you imagine? What kind of dictatorial tendency is that? So everybody says Joseph Boyka is humble. He's a respectful man. That's what we're talking about. But insisting tomorrow, send your crew there, send your camera crew there. Tomorrow, Fanatikova will enter the hall. He will be on the ballot paper. They need to bring the entire battlecraft on Unity Party tomorrow to stop Kofa from entering the hall.
Thank you.
That's what they need to do. The guys will move
let me
in
just
convoy. They go and that number will enter the plenary tomorrow. They will form the quorum. The chief clerk will preside. The speaker will be elected. And subsequently, the speaker will preside over the other elections. That's the procedure. And that's the process. Except Jeremiah Quinn will be vice president or Joseph Boyka. For me, I will be happy if they don't be because I don't believe in it.
Thank you.
So I will be
Thank
excited
you.
about that.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Let Lofa come in and then Peabody.
No, quickly, I just want to address something here. I read a comment on here, and someone was concerned about why is it that when our CDC representatives on here. I think we opened up the invitation the last time we were here on Friday, if you guys can remember that, and the invitation is open. Unity Party said they would not come on. Okay, so we can't force anybody to come on here. If they decide to come on here, it's okay, and that's the reason why we don't simply sing the choirs here. We agree, disagree on issues here. So I just wanted to get that clear out. The invitation was out there to Unity Party. They said
that our question. And Kuhn were on another show yesterday. Did they ask if Fonati were there? That ain't going on, man. Go ahead. Hey man, yeah, man. Did they ask questions yesterday when Kuhn were on and where the place me? Did they call for
Ben, there's a difference people bring to the table.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody got to come here.
People can just piss me off with that. The thing that can piss me off.
No, but for the record, even this program, I sent Ronan Giddens the link. I also sent Jackie. There you
go. The other platforms they can go listen to. They don't even encourage dissenting opinion. Then one can hear whole day they won't be asking questions and asking. You won't watch go. Go ahead, Peabody.
No, Ben, that's not different. This is the closing argument.
I'm concerned about what I'm concerned about.
Normally already go with Ben. All of Paris.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh, Ben, we got two Paris.
Yeah. But what I'm concerned
about. And Ben to contest you also that today. The person fighting for the party.
Vlad party.
Okay.
Are you
what I'm concerned about?
Y'all let that people ask the question.
Okay.
They got mad at that other comment. Somebody.
Go ahead.
This is what I'm concerned about. You got the folks have all said what they want to say. But what I'm concerned about, there is some level of hypocrisy when it comes to the Senate, especially on the majority block, which is the CDC. Why is Abu Chair sitting there leading a group to sign a resolution for Yumli Kanga in this $40,000 saga? Why is he sitting there? Why is he doing that?
No,
what's going on here?
I'm disappointed.
What?
the pro tem Abache should be leading the CDC block.
Right.
There are nothing less than 11 persons. And that 11 persons could just collect another 5 persons. In fact, they 5. And the deal is done because they have a block. You know, but again, someone said, yeah, our laws too. You see, country like Ghana, if you left your political institution and join another party, you forfeit your seat automatically.
True.
Like Ghana.
Wow.
Like
Yeah.
India.
That's the law in Ghana. Mhm.
Yeah.
The party
We were
owned
fighting
the
for that
seat.
law before.
Yeah.
Your party own a seat. Yeah,
Party
like Ghana.
owns the seat. That's how the
You know,
Ghanaian do
so-
it.
If I were the chairman of the CDC or the National Executive Committee, like our Secretary General by then, under my administration, that can happen. You are being expelled tomorrow morning. If you have 5 people who believe in you, you can have the 5 persons. That's an act of betrayal on the part of the rest of your colleagues to lead a frantic effort. You know, because mind you, he was supporting Emmanuel Nukwe.
Mhm.
And he had the CDC lawmakers behind him. You know, because he's the pro tem, and that's the CDC. So they say, okay, but we think Nukwe can win. Nukwe is an ally of ours. He supported us. So let's rally around him. When Nukwe was sanctioned, he was sanctioned. The guys asked that same Besson guy became our ally. Let's rally around Besson guy. But he's saying no. He's not rallying around Besson guy. So many of the guys, you know, yeah, you said that's something very important. Sometimes you're blaming the executive, but it has to do with personal interest too. Some guys want to be on certain committee. I heard he will be the chairman of the committee on lands, mass, and energy. The same committee they sanction him for. The same issue. That's what I heard.
No, but Carlos,
So they're going
we'll
to
see
give
tomorrow.
You know, he
We'll see
understands
how to
the
vote tomorrow.
mining sector of the country
Let's see how to vote tomorrow.
a lot. That one you can't take it from him.
Because
He ain't been a classroom teacher at the University of Liberia in that area. So
But-
I know they're going to give him.
Before
I want
you-
to make a break from
mining sector.
our mining sector so that we made a break from.
But before you,
So, yeah,
before
no.
you go,
I saw, no, they had a meeting, and he'll be the chairman most likely on, if not, then they will give him the committee on public works.
All the contracts.
Yeah.
Okay.
All the road
Can I,
contracts.
he
Can I
keep,
ask
he
you a
keep
question
on
here?
it's kind of
No, but the way they
Also,
vote together, black.
They will double sanction him again.
They have 26 person or even 17 person when they share the committee of money. Everyone know vote one
Okay.
way for you.
so Representative Gray, let me ask
You
you a
understand?
question though.
Understand? No, that's how the Senate will do. In most states managed when it comes to the committee.
Okay.
Representative Gray, you
Brent, let me ask this
His
question.
audio is
No,
bad.
but
yeah.
but can you imagine?
And there's a serious delay. He's not.
Yeah.
No, but
There's a heavy
Abacha is definitely being set to become the chairman on lands, mass, and energy.
again,
The four my
They will sanction
position is
him
public
again.
works. That's why I'm
Double
here.
sanction.
Except because I'm divorcing it, I'm change
Okay.
it.
Okay. So,
But
so
yeah,
Representative
they
Gray, I want to know.
want to
let
put
me
him
come
on the
back to-
committee as chair of
Jack,
co-chair.
go ahead. Nicola. Go ahead. Go ahead. He will hear you.
So I want to know, why is it important that you guys will conduct these meetings
And other
or
people,
the vote-
committees, you know, they got
Man,
the
still
vote
talking.
in secret?
already.
Because
Lofa, he's still talking.
I know they post them some
Man, let him never
committees
come back
that
tomorrow. The internet very bad, man.
get it. Yeah, people refuse to sign.
Yeah, Representative Gray, we're having a really
People
hard
to sign.
time.
Believe in the leadership structure. So for those and say, okay, resettlement, we're going to
Representative Gray, can you hear us?
resettlement.
Can you hear us?
Can you leave and come back? Can you leave and come back? Because we like your voice is all distorted. We can't really understand anything you're saying.
Yeah, we're having a hard time hearing you.
And while you're fixing that, let me just throw my question in there. When you come back, I want to know why is it important that you guys conduct these very elections in private? Why haven't you guys done anything to have these elections in a way where the public will see how people are voting? Instead, you're doing these things in private. I mean, what is it that you guys are trying to hide? That's
Well,
what
let me ask. If then Larry can come in or somebody can come in. What they do the elections secret ballot.
Why?
But I mean, I think the normal it's almost like you voting for president, right? You got secret ballot. But let me say that they do count the ballots in the public though. What they do is once the election is over, it's open to the public. It's not a closed session though. People can stand in a gallery. What happens is that the members of the House will walk over to the ballot box and they will put in the ballot, right? All of them are giving ballots. They will print the both names on there. All of them are giving ballot. You check it, you go, you put it in. Then what they will do is they have the elections commission. Their own election commission is set up, will come and open the ballot box in front of the public, and then you will hear them count.
Okay.
So far, their person, that person, and then they will announce who wins. That's how it goes.
But why don't they just do the yeah and nay? Public.
But you can't do that. You can't do that.
Why not?
Because they're electing a speaker. It's even in this country. You know how people can vote for speaker? Yeah?
No.
It's open.
They don't do yeah and nay to elect speaker.
Yes, they do. Yes,
no,
they
they
do.
don't. My man, we just tried the other day. Why did they take 50 rounds?
No.
Why did they take 15 rounds?
No.
So you like Kevin McCarthy? They don't do yeah and nay.
Because there were underlining.
No, they vote on the record. They vote on the record. The only difference was they will put the thing on the screen. You will see Democrats, they will ask Mr. This, Mr. That. They vote on the record. They do vote on the record. But the thing is, like I said, for the results are announced, it is announced publicly. And when the voting is live, anybody can go. It's not it's not an executive session though. It's not. Because I've been privy to attend 2 of those elections, one for the pro tem and one for the election for the speaker. But it's not. It's to do. But Larry, I want you to come in. I know you talked about you were striking a point on something, and I think people need some education on this. This is almost like a fool's errand that we do in Liberia, where we think, the person that American said. First of all, when you call even the U.S. immigration or the State Department to ask about another person's citizenship, the first thing they can tell you is, in fact, the U.S. Embassy in Liberia will even say, we don't comment on personal immigration matters.
Yeah.
They won't do that. So I don't understand why you on this fool's errand. So can you speak to that a little bit? I thought it was important for you to educate the public, because I think many people just think, tomorrow the Chief Justice will call the American Embassy.
It doesn't work like that.
They will say, Kofa that American citizen. Can you educate the public a little bit?
In fact, Ben, the CDC might even have a better case based on the fact that what happened to I forget if I pronounce his name incorrectly, but Nwabuke, right?
Yeah, Nwabudike. Yeah.
I can never get that name right. But if you pay attention to how he was refused a position at the LACC, CDC can use that same strategy to stop Richard Coon if they took that route. But that whole concept about trying to approve U.S. citizenship thing is a waste of time. It's a fool's errand. But the thing that really is I'm kind of a little bit stunned when you look at the whole debacle with the CPP and the fear that Alex Cummings was going to be buying delegates, so they didn't want to go to convention votes, so they didn't want to go to convention. Then you go full circle.
Thank you.
Perfect example.
Thank you.
You are saying black voting.
Well, say you want to leave it to the individuals, but you fear that people are going to bribe them. But here it is now. You're trying to do the same thing that you were afraid Cummings was going to do. I don't know. I think this administration coming in needs to focus on the key elements. Look, if you put forth a good, decent bill, you're not going to have a problem with the speakership.
Exactly.
Funati Kova is well versed in this stuff. He understands. They may have a ton of experience. He's well versed in this stuff. But I'm also concerned in terms of what is the penalty for the CDC people who are going to flip and vote Unity Party against their own man.
Mhm.
That's another thing that got me concerned. So I kind of think it's strategic.
No, but let me, for information purposes, none of the CDC partisans have broken though. They're solidly behind Funati.
Exactly. So again, it goes back to the point. Now you kind of
There's a bunch of
yourself.
independents. There's a bunch of independents and some of the Unity Party. You know, Unity Party has an alliance. They got the MDRO. They got the Yombly supporters from the Liberty Party. You got the two of them, Prince Tolles and Priscilla Cooper. They are the ones supporting Coon with the Unity Party. I think the Unity Party has 7 members in the lower house. 7 as a party, as an institution. The CDC has, I think, 17 or 15 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Like Gray was saying, in the Senate, the CDC has 11. That there's a Senate that you probably may want to ask that question. But as far as the House is concerned, the CDC block is still solid behind Funati.
And my last point, Robin, I'll swing it to you. 30 seconds on this last point. The U.S. mission in Liberia, they by law have to send reports to the State Department and to the White House on the state of affairs in Liberia. So the first thing they're seeing now is this whole rigmarole about pay for play and the speakership and the inauguration. They're seeing all this rigmarole from and you hadn't even taken office yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's concerning. The State Department, by the mission, in terms of their what they have to do, they have to give that report in terms of what's going on. Mm-hmm. It doesn't look good right now. They need to stop what they're doing and focus on job creation, focus on bringing foreign investment, focus on the things that will help the Liberian people, not their political mumbo jumbo thing that is going to lead to hurting them in the long run. I don't know. Maybe that's not a whole lot of strategic people in there, but to your point, Ben, they're not going to get anything from the U.S. in terms of Funati Kufa citizenship. If he is a U.S. citizen, they're not going to get anything whatsoever from the U.S. unless they have they have like a standing, some sort of a standing in order to be able to get that information. But it's not going to happen. But CDC can flip that thing there and say, look, let's take the throw the name in there, Noah Bukaki, you know.
Yeah.
They might flip it and take that approach in terms of him declaring his citizenship from the onset. So I just want to say, I'll swing it over back to you, Ben.
I want you to comment on the U.S., the thing that he talked about, the importance of, because you did remember Catherine Rodriguez, the ambassador, the officer in charge currently in Monrovia, pending the arrival of Ambassador, who was it? Ambassador Nimsa, the new U.S. ambassador to Liberia. Tell me what his name said. You know the man name, man.
Tuna, right?
Tuna, Ambassador Tuna, right? Pending his arrival. Catherine Rodriguez was very clear that they pay attention to social media. They pay attention to the news. They pay attention to that story in Front Page Africa is very damaging, by the way. The story about the Senate, the bribes that were offered, the pay for pretty much the pay for play.
But not to interrupt you, it's in the yearly human rights report. This site sources like Front Page and different things. It's in the human rights report.
And you know the other fascinating thing, guys, and Tomlin speak on this. 5 members of the Liberian Senate are currently under sanctions. 5. This is not a good way for the 55th to start. And you can discount it all you want, because I spoke with somebody today high up in the Yombly camp, and they were dismissing it. Oh man, I just Rodney writing, I think he's doing that. Normally they do that, a normal thing. You know, the normal, and I say almost like a bug I can boy you when you come to power, right? Well, when you get, by the time you take power, you're like, oh, don't be matter, man. That foolishness, Lofa ain't talking. That foolishness, Rodney ain't talking. Don't want to put the foolishness until you come back to buy you. Tommy, I want you to talk about that.
Well, I mean, like we all saying, is I can assure you that this coming legislature, there will sanction more, a lot of them. In fact, all the sanction, majority of the sanction president in Liberia is imposed on the members of the Liberian legislature. And apparently those who occupy a position of pro tem or speaker, they always fall trap to these people's sanctions. So I think I know somebody, I won't call him, but he said, Georgie, I want that job, yeah. I said, why is it? Because that whole legislature so D go on there. So and once they put final in D, they will sanction you. So
Yeah.
so you know, sometimes they say trouble for no man, right? But watch what will happen. And from what you see things going, you heard Prince Johnson today, you're saying something in your church. He said people brought money.
Can we
to
kind of play that
influence-
when you guys
yeah,
have time?
Yeah,
influence
go
money.
ahead, Lofa. Yeah.
And then also too, we all know that the whole thing and in the Senate, what it did at Farmington, it was full, from what we hear from front page of bribery, it's all about bribery and so forth. But again, I want to see for the record tomorrow, I want to see who all will vote in the election tomorrow, especially the opposition senators and independent senators or so. But one of the person I've been trying to get hold of, I hope we can return my call to Senator Snow, because I know he supported the CDC in the election. I saw him a lot of time with President Weah flying together and so forth. I saw he's independent, but I know he's on the other side now. I don't know what's happening, but I hope we get the bottom of what's going on. But like Peabody said, Albert Che, he's leading the effort for this Senate negotiation. Have already surrendered the CDC to the Unity Party in the Senate already. So that means they're going to vote one-sided, perhaps. When I hear them talking about they're going to be strong, they're going to be robust, I say it's an odd joke. So, but I can tell you, Ben, the United States government, as the only people that we are afraid of, I'm sure they will impose more sanctions in the coming months, because the whole issue about this Senate election, that with bribery, they will investigate and will find out what took place there. It will pay for play what will happen. Those will be sanctioned. They will face the weight of the U.S. or sanction list.
And Thomas, and I want Robert, anybody can take this answer. One of the other thing is, and I spoke with somebody today, a high place source who's connected with some folks in Washington, and that the question they're also asking is, where is all this money coming from? That's the other question that is being asked, right? I mean, 40,000 per head.
You got business people
When
all
you
involved in our election now.
40,000, when you multiply, even if you say you're giving 20 persons, right? Because you want a majority black, even you get up 30. If you multiply, where is all this money coming from, though?
Ben, some old lady in Bon County said Boyka had his own money. Did you not see that video?
Yeah,
I saw that.
Yeah,
No, but I mean, where is it coming from? Can we speak to that? Where is it coming from?
Ben, you asked
and they're not in power yet, right? So where is this money coming from?
You asked a very good question, but before I answer that, I want to piggyback to something Larry mentioned, which I thought was very, very profound. Unity Party had the numbers when in the collaboration with ANC and others, when Alice Cummings demanded that they go to convention. And Larry spoke about party loyalty. And though they had the numbers, they could have easily said, you know what, let's go to convention. Why are you an insignificant man, or 1% or 2.45%? You are in a collaboration with a major former ruling party, and you're asking us to go to convention? How many delegates do you have? They did everything possible to not go to the convention and go through the democratic process. And you know what? It had me wondering why. And everyone you spoke to in private said, because most of the Unity Party delegates, especially those who have been out of power for all these years, were belly driven. There are men like Alice Cummings Calabac who easily give someone $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 to vote him as the presumptive nominee. And here we are with similar situation, right? Because why are we even having these discussions when CDC clearly have what it takes to determine who becomes not only the next speaker, but who becomes the deputy speaker? Mm-hmm. These discussions should not even be happening. Now, to your question, as it relates to where is the money coming from, I think these are all valid questions. The question that I want to know is, are we ever going to get answers? Will we ever know where these funds are coming from? I mean, $40,000 is no money. But forget $40,000. We have not seen that yet. We have not seen that manifested. But we know that the president elect made a contribution of over $50,000 as his personal. He did not say on behalf of the party. He said, this is on behalf of my family. We are making a personal initial contribution to the victims of the tank explosion. The question as it relates to where those funds are coming from is one no one wants to answer.
Yeah.
But it's worrisome, especially for a man who has lived so modestly, for a guy who were marketed and who's on record of saying, look, I've lived on loan. For a guy who, to some point, we clearly knew did not have much money because, look, I'm not going to go into details. His trips to the U.S., conversations that were held privately. And so suddenly you cannot have a man who didn't have money all these years, somehow coming up with $50,000, $70,000, making $40,000 promises to lawmakers. Where is this money coming from? And if we don't ask this question with some sort of aggression, you should really be worried about what could possibly happen, and it could play into all of this thing when Algaris talks about they won the budget. The budget piece, I believe, is a very important.
And that's the next debate.
Even though I question
debate.
How can they even manipulate the budget when it has to go through scrutinization and all of those things like that? Only them can answer this question, right? But the last point I want to make is this dual citizenship thing. And I want Liberians to understand this. There is absolutely no way you can know American citizen. There is no way you can know whether or not I'm an American citizen, especially if I've never voted in this country. That's one. Let's start there.
Yeah, exactly.
And two, if I've never flown through the Liberian airport with a passport, and this is the danger of this. This is the reason why people are passing through Ghana and other African countries, because there are some dishonest people who work in our government, and this is the trick that they've continued to play. So when people talk about U.S. citizenship, this is all about assumption. Unless I've seen Ben Senvi's passport, unless I've seen the stamps in his passport, I cannot make a determination whether or not Ben Senvi is a U.S. citizen or not. And even so, let's assume that they bring any case against him tomorrow. Why would the strategy be wait for tomorrow? Tomorrow is the election.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court talked about due process. Due process is not a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 thing. And you cannot deprive a man of anything, property, interest, or whatsoever, until you have allowed him due process. So how is this even going to play out? I see an election where Fonati Kofa will become the next speaker. And we must, once and for all, Ben Senvi, address this question as it relates to dual citizenship. Because I, for one, is not on the side where we are being selective with the laws. We are not respecting the laws. If the law says what the law says about dual citizenship, and people in Congress are interested in holding passports of different countries, then they must make the law where it benefits all of us, not some of us.
Well, let me come in here. Look, this is just what you're going to see after Joe Vargas is inaugurated. You will see a lot more money changing hands for different things. Even there will be times that money will change hands for confirmation, and that's it. It's just starting. You haven't. You say you never have money to take care of your own medical bill. Folks need to raise money. Even the president of Liberia that gave you money to go to the hospital with less than just 1 month after the election, you can give up $50,000 to people. I don't like Grace said, you in the process of moving to Amin Mudar $1 million home. We're all seeing brand new cars around. We've seen that senators are giving $40,000, almost $800,000 for all the senators. We see that you're calling people to give them $25,000 to, this just tell you that folks need to tie the belt, because things going to get hell. It's going to be hell, because corruption we'll see a new group of elite Liberians from the government money moving out there, government officials and everything. That's all you're going to see. And who suffer? The very people who are out there electing them. They're the ones going to be the victim of all this thing that's going on right now. I had said it from day one that I just didn't believe that Joe Biden could lead the country. And examples are coming out right now. Look at some of the decisions they are making at the moment. You waited all this time. When Fonati was deputy speaker, you guys did not go to Supreme Court and challenge the American citizenship. You waited all this time. So who's leading? Who's making decisions? Who's advising him? Is he able to make his own decisions? Say, let me sit down by myself today and think about whether this is right or wrong, or just what people tell you and what you go by. I think it'll be a waste of time. Seriously.
And Peabody, just to butcher what you just said, like I said earlier, guys, Richard Coon was a lead campaigner for Fonati deputy speakership. He was one of the lead campaigners. He was in Fonati block until 3 weeks ago. Until his party decided that, you know what, we're gonna, Richard Coon was one of the people who were leading this fight for.
But Ben, they already have the presidency. What is this fight about?
That's what I'm saying. You see, so let's I want to bring Larry in on something here, right? And then the Lofa can come in. Larry, I want and I remember, they say that facts are stubborn things, right? I remember you had endorsed Joe Buckeye at one point during the process. But I also remember when they did their merger with Prince Johnson, you were like, see ya. Were you afraid of the pay for play?
And what I said at the time was Prince Johnson on that stage with Boycott, it was a non-starter for me. And you have to be clear, and people need to understand why I said what I said. Because people don't understand, a lot of people don't pay it. You say if you live in the US, there's certain things you got to pay attention to. Certain jobs, if you're doing in the US, you got to pay close attention to it. Because a former senior director of the FBI, when he started doing business with guys in Russia who were sanctioned, he got arrested.
Yep.
He got arrested for doing business with him. And I will put this out there. One of my men who's on the sanctions list was trying to reach out for me to help him with, deal with some, getting off the list. But the problem was I can't do business with him. And you can get people off the sanctions list. There are ways to do it. Yep. But I couldn't communicate and do business with him because just by doing so, you get in trouble. So they don't seem to understand there's some implications in terms of people being on the sanctions list. Even those people who have been elected, they cannot use U.S. government money. And we know the U.S. government spends millions in Liberia every year. But those people in those counties, they cannot touch that money to do any initiatives that they're interested in. But I want to say one last thing before I swing it back to you, Ben. This whole business of dual citizenship and things like that. What was Robert Sirleaf's response when they asked him about his citizenship? Remember during his confirmation years ago?
Yes, I remember.
The Unity Party people, they put Robert Sirleaf forth. Yeah. And when they asked him, he kept repeating that he was a Liberian citizen.
Yes. Yeah.
So you can't, it goes back to what Robert and what you guys have been saying. You can't have selective justice. You can't say you're the arbiter of law and order when from the onset, when people like Robert Sirleaf was put forth in terms of his citizenship, you ignored it. Yep. So today now you want, come on, man, And I think somebody mentioned it earlier that justice, and I think this is where Akaris Gray is heading. You can't, you have to play dirty sometimes with Liberian politicians. Mm-hmm. Because if you try to play fair, you're going to end up being a loser. Because there's no rules of engagement. We just do things. Yesterday, the rule applied to you. Today is not going to apply to me. They do a whole lot of nonsense. But again, I would say it. They're watching them. They're watching them. These guys are going to get sanctions. They're going to get prosecuted. And they're going to, rather than focus on the agenda, they're wasting their time with this stuff because I firmly believe that Fonati Kofa more than likely is going to get it. He's going to get the position. So they're wasting their time. I don't even know why they bother.
So Larry,
Larry, somebody just asked me to put on sanctions. He might help now.
I know, right? Larry and I announced that he can help to get off the sanction. But Larry, I want to add before Kev and Lofa come in, I want to ask you a question on this issue of sanctions and all of the different implications of what we're looking at here, right? Like we say, whether we like it or not, when America sneezes, Liberia catches a cold. So we can play all the play we want to play. Kev can say that we are a sovereign country and he's a Pan-Africanist and we cannot do this and we can't do that. But whether we like it or not, our purse strings are attached to this country, right? I want you to speak on this because I want both Kev and Lofa to come in. This issue of sanctions, because our folks, friends in the Unity Party made this sanction thing, made it look like, say, well, yeah, but George, we are government. They literally made it look like, you know, I'm like America ain't let George, we are government, right? So they went after George, we are government. But like you said the other day, and today you also said, maybe George, we are then dodge a bullet. Because guess what? GlobeMag is even stronger now. GlobeMag now has teeth to bite. Before it was just, we'll put you down. You can't deal with our banks. You can't come to our country, right? But you can do anything else you want to do. Now, with this new law that was passed, right? They have the ability, they have the capacity to prosecute you. And so if you go to a country where America has extensive interest with or connections with, which is almost every country in the world, by the way, you run the risk of getting arrested and prosecuted under U.S. law. Can you expand on that a little bit, and then Kev can come in, and then Peabody, and then Lofa, and everybody else can jump in.
Ben, you're right. The game has changed. Just how the whole GlobeMag really missed Unity Party at the end of the first administration, and then it nabbed CDC when they came in. It's just how now this new enhanced law that deals with actual prosecuting people, not just sanctioning them, but prosecuting them, it has misjudged we are now. And it's not grabbing the second round. It's not going to grab Unity Party people. And people need to pay attention to this because they keep missing some key elements. Back in June of 2021, President Biden made that statement. It's on the U.S. government website, the White House website. They go check it out. He said corruption was a threat to U.S. national security
threat, yes.
A threat.
A threat.
And because of that, he was focusing on fighting corruption. And every year around anti-corruption day, I think it's like December. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That's when you start seeing people get sanctioned. It was like one unusual situation. I think it was like in August that a handful of people got sanctioned. But every year in December, people are getting sanctioned now because what you're doing is a threat to U.S. national security. And then touching U.S. government money. Look, I pulled the data. Liberia has received over a number of like maybe 30, 40 years, around $15 billion just from the U.S. It's on foreignassistance.gov. You can go and check it out. Larry didn't say it. It's there. Over 15 billion. You look around Liberia and you say, well, where did all that money go?
Yeah.
This is the reason why the U.S. now is emphasizing grabbing people now and prosecuting them for corruption. So when you come into power now, and the first thing you're doing now, there's this whole thing about where is money, amazingly appearing from. It's starting to raise eyebrows. They're raising eyebrows, and then you bring out the wrong issues. But let me say this one thing, then I'll swing it back to you. Listen, I think some of this money may be promised and will probably be delivered through the budget.
That's what I'm about to say. So is that what this fight is about?
These guys have a way. Because I asked Akara this thing here. Why is it that you said the incoming vice president was doing stuff in the budget and you guys didn't catch it? Mm-hmm. How you guys didn't catch it? Yeah. So these guys have a way of manipulating and slipping things in the budget and then letting it slide. So I don't think they're going to come up with all this money now. They're more than likely going to manipulate it somewhere in the budget because after you vote, then you will get paid. Because there's no guarantee you're going to pay the people down and they're going to vote for you.
True.
So they will hold off and wait until they actually vote, manipulating the budget, and then for them to get paid. That is the essence or the pure definition of pay to play.
True.
So, look, man.
Larry, somebody said that Larry and that Ben man are talking. They themselves are U.S. citizens should stop talking about our.
And you know the great thing about it?
Let me step for the
record. Government.
No, let me step for the record. I'm not a U.S. citizen. I'm a permanent resident. I'm not a U.S. citizen. I'm a permanent resident, and I made a decision.
There's no way.
And that's not the way wrong with it. My man.
You can say I'm an Israeli citizen, a UK, a British citizen, you can't even say I'm a Nigerian citizen.
Exactly.
The great thing about it.
Go ahead.
I'm the government Liberia.
Have you U.S. citizen or you Sierra Leone citizen?
Oh Lord!
Why not Liberian? Why not Liberian?
Kev's gonna go. Kev, But all
All
right,
right, I'm just
you have a
messing
right
with
to
you.
respond.
I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing.
Let me say this in terms of citizenship. Larry, I want you to come in and explain to Liberian people that from the first president of Liberia,
I know, right?
come down, they are American citizens.
The first 12. The first 12.
Please explain to the people.
You
I
see,
mean,
and they shouldn't focus on
we
that.
are
because-
real land of contradictions. I mean, we're such a people. So
But they shouldn't even fear.
Where the first president was born, where he was born, the first president.
What was it in the
Virginia, Norfolk, Virginia.
Virginia.
Norfolk.
Yeah, most of them they come from either the U.S. or they came from the Caribbean. But you see, the crazy thing about it, they shouldn't even fear the dual citizenship thing because some of the most prominent prime ministers, they had U.S. citizenship. The prime minister, Indira Gandhi or Gandhi,
Yeah,
U.S. citizen. Yeah, look at the Kissinger who just passed away.
Kissinger. Yeah.
Held one of the highest posts in U.S. Secretary of State, Henry Kissinger.
Madeleine Albright.
They all did have.
Madeleine Albright from the Czech Republic.
Even at one time, Lee Kuan Yew, who studied over in the U.S.
Singapore. Yeah.
They keep missing the point. It's not
But
so
the former
much
governor,
citizenship.
of California,
But
he
yes,
has a passport
I
of his,
know certain things. Yeah.
of his country.
Exactly. But it's just the rule. You see, if you go into say it's okay for a Robert Sirleaf dual citizenship to not be an issue, then dual citizenship is off the board, off the table for everybody else. Dual citizenship, I've never seen situations where it actually killed a country from developing.
Thank you.
But
What
yes,
kills the country from developing
Mhm.
is people trying to do all this shenanigans and manipulation within the budget and stealing and pay for play and all this nonsense. This is what frightens investors from coming to your country.
Lofa.
So they need to pay attention to that stuff. But I hope that answers your question, Kev. The first 12 presidents of Liberia, they were all U.S. citizens.
But here's the thing, right? When we speak to this issue of dual citizenship, the first thing and first person that comes to my mind is Darius DeLone. Okay, this is a man who thought that he will fight against the possibility of any form of dual citizenship. Now, do you expect any different from Darius DeLone? This is a man who heavily relied on diaspora Liberian to win his seat. Okay, and anybody can challenge me on this. We can dispute it because diaspora Liberian played a heavy role in Darius DeLone election. Now, Darius DeLone, this is a man who claimed initially that he was against dual citizenship, and then finally he stepped up and said the reason why Liberians from the diaspora should not be given unrestricted rights to serve is because he's afraid of possible corruption and other things that have happened. But you look at Darius DeLone today, though, he's amongst the hyenas. He's literally that one person who today most Liberians today are afraid of. As a matter of fact, like you put Darius DeLone here and put me over there, I'll literally put my hands on my pocket to prevent anything from coming out of it. That's
man,
how I look at Darius DeLone.
Yeah, that's not terrible, man. I agree with Lofa.
That's a stretch. That's a stretch.
No, I'm not stretching it. I'm telling
No.
you the reason. Look, if you can willingly sit among lawmakers who are willing to take out of the pockets and take bread off the people's table, you're no different from the local guys that are running the streets and being called.
But what has Dylan done? What has Dylan
Yeah, but
done?
apart from that, Lofa, give me 10 seconds.
Robert,
No, let me watch out Lofa friend.
Lofa, disagree with you, man, but that kind of zero.
Robert, I know when it kind of Dylan business, you get jumped.
You can disagree,
I
but
know Dylan did it too.
I disagree with that kind of zero.
And then
That's
Lofa,
no, that Lofa view, though. That Lofa view, guys. That Lofa view.
That's my view.
No, listen.
I mean, he's not a Jew, I disagree at all.
Guys, I'm not attacking Lofa for his view.
That's a
Come on,
very
man.
good friend of
I
mine.
disagree at all.
Y'all know what we do here. I just want to know, right? Lofa is stating. I mean, when you go as far as stretching it to say, oh, when you see Dylan, you will cover your pocket because
Right.
I'm trying to figure out. Look, again, there's no angels in this devil's world, right?
After Lofa will come.
But anyway, go ahead. I see somebody commenting. I want to. You want to say something? Go ahead.
After Lofa will come. Go ahead. After Lofa.
Go ahead. I see somebody 100%.
Yes, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. I would say Fakari.
But here's what, right? When we talk about this, the reason why some of us believe, and nothing away from Delon. Delon is a good friend of mine. All right. If I ever go to Liberia, I will call him up. We probably have lunch or something together. But I think I stand for something that I stand for. I said probably. But here's the thing, though. Darius Delon is one of those people who ran on certain promises that today he himself can't even live up to. The first thing that got my attention about Darius Delon is simple. The idea that he was going to fight for salary reduction. Now, I'm not saying Darius Delon alone could get it done. All right. But he could advocate. Darius Delon came to the Senate based on advocacy. Remember Darius Delon when he started the late Adolph Lawrence. Darius Delon appealed to the emotion of Liberian by establishing this thing he called class of the Adolph Lawrence class of patriotism.
Yeah. Then now the class reloaded.
Thank you. Then where did it end? It ended with the class reloaded to bring now who is a president-elect Honorable Joseph Numa Boakai, who is now giving money that he never had when he was a private citizen. So Darius Delon is nowhere far from all of these undermining, sinister acts to keep our people in this kind of impoverished situation. So he's a friend of mine, and we remain friends. But the truth is the truth. The man is, he's no different from any of the other thieves in the house. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Yeah, Robert coming, and for the record, I went to church, so that person is wrong.
Yeah. So
Margaret Johnson.
Lofa.
Meanwhile, Ghana is down 1-0 by Cape Verde.
Lofa. Lofa, I 200% agree with everything you just said.
Look at Robert.
Okay. And you know what? You know the difference between me and you? I will not do lunch with the man. I will not do lunch with the man. I'll go do my own lunch.
I said maybe. Me
and Tumalane will do lunch. In fact, I will do lunch with all my other friends that are coming from California. I will do lunch. I will not do lunch. Look, this man said right before he was elected, Larry.
You don't come on the show.
He said, yeah, he should please come. No one getting off the show. No one will be sent. No one getting off. Everybody will be on when he come. This man said that he did not believe that lawmakers making $15,000 and all of the other perks that they put in the budget for themselves, like they should not be making all of this money and buying vehicle for them and having government budget millions of dollars to buy vehicle. And the first promise he made was that if given the opportunity, he would not have accepted a government-owned vehicle, that he would have driven his old car he had. I made a challenge and I said, if Abraham Dara Delon actually went ahead and did what he promised, I would have been the first one in any diaspora fundraiser to purchase a vehicle for him instead of him buying his own car. I would have made a $5,000 contribution to that. Imagine what that would have meant. Imagine a senator who ran on this whole platform of being the light. Imagine had he actually stuck to what he has said. Because I agree, you can't be making $15,000 every month. That's a lot of money in a country where, a civil servant are making $50, $75, $200, every month. You can't be making that kind of money and then budgeting millions of dollars to buy $40,000, $25,000 car. What did he do? He made an excuse. His first excuse was, what would you guys want me to do? The car was already bought. If the car was already bought, return the car back to the government. Simple. Let the government resell the car, use the money, and let that money be redirected to education or whatever else that was your interest. Apart from that, Larry, this man, he's one of the guys who is not well exposed. The man went and he was trying to fly business class like some of us do. The difference between Darius Delon and some of us, we work hard for our money. So we know the processes. But a man who flies business class, who makes his money, even though we don't agree with how much they make, but you earn that money. So if you earn that money, you have the right to spend the money the way you want to spend the money, right? There's no reason to lie. The man was trying to be flamboyant, bought a business class, took a picture in the business class, posted it. When people asked him about isn't this hypocritical when you talk about other government officials flying business class in the midst of poverty, in the midst of constituents that don't have this and that? He said he just want to go speak to his colleague in business class. Little did he know that it doesn't work that way. You want to speak to your colleague, you will speak to your colleague outside the lounge. You are not allowed in business class in that direction if you don't have ticket for that. When he came back and the man doubled down, he still lied. Anyone who lies like that, Ben Sanvi, you got to be very careful with a man like that. Anyone who lies, how many times have that man not make his mama shame? Every day he lie, he come, Mama, sorry, I made you shame today. Mama, sorry, I made you shame today. Darius Dillon is no different from what I would call a sophisticated Zogo. He's a sophisticated Zogo because if he lies to the Liberian people and he has not kept not a single promise he's made, that man has no credibility. No credibility. And I challenge him to come on the show.
All right.
Okay. Ben, let me clarify the car issue now. The car with Dillon, the car. Just quickly. Robert, that car you talk about, Dillon, that car was bought for the late Geraldine Doe. So
I know.
You already bought. So Dillon argument was the car already bought and paid for. So it's like it's not like he taking money to go buy a new car. So when he took over the seat, he just the car already there. He just went for that car. So that's
that's a lame exclude. That's a lame exclude.
But Robert,
the car was still bought by government budget. That's a lame exclude.
Robert, and the way the government procurement processes work, right? I don't think he had control over that. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here. I don't think he had control over that. On the issue of Lova,
they had control. All he could have said, I don't want a car. Simple.
No, listen, guys, and even on the issue of the ticket, he came here apologized. Yeah. Listen, I think.
But why lie about it, Ben?
Yeah, but okay, he told a lie. He apologized. He owned up.
Move on.
He owned up to it. We move on.
The man lied 3 times about it. 3 times.
Yeah, but he owned up to it because you know what?
No,
he set expectations. And you know when you set expectations for Lofa, because Lofa was one of the desperate spokesperson for Dillon campaign.
You're right.
Yeah.
When you set these expectations, and I think Dillon has realized that. That's why you see the way he operates now. Mm-hmm. He doesn't try to
set expectations for no Liberian politician.
Yeah. But with that being said, let us not lose focus of the conversation.
Right.
Dillon will be here.
Ben, let me ask.
There's a breaking news, though, Ben. Did you want to discuss the breaking news?
Breaking news.
Let me
ask. The breaking news.
Information I'm getting. Okay, go ahead.
The breaking news about President Weah disclosing that he will not contest in the 2029 election.
Is that true?
I don't think that's what he said. Well, let me say this. I don't think that's what he said. I did watch the video.
What did he say?
I think he was throwing. Listen, and I think he was throwing talk. Right? He was making one argument. He was also making was that he would not stay in politics until he 80-year-old. I think he was throwing a jab at. He was also saying that he intends to retire at age 65. But he also said that in 2029 he will be 63.
So he left it open.
I think people are running with it from the angle of, listen, George Weah remains the face of the CDC. He is, I know there were some extra people who voted for him, right? But he has a solid base that I think if he were to throw in the towel this early, there's a serious potential that base it would demoralize that base. But I think generally what he was trying to do today, I think he was throwing jabs. Because there was even points where he talked about he waiting to see now the new government will pay for all the road in 3 months. He said he will be monitoring it. I think today he went to pick small fuss today, but he was trying to. There's a portion where he was being presidential, but then the crew sacking out of him, right? What I heard from him today, I didn't hear him say, I'm not going to run. I heard him say, I didn't come to politics to retire in politics. And he was trolling it because he even used the example. He said, some of our fathers and uncles, some of them were 1 year old, they were in politics, are they coming back now? What do you think he was doing?
That's true.
I really think he was throwing a jab because look at Boycott. Let's even talk about Boycott surroundings.
Let's talk about Dillon.
No,
all his appointments he has made so far are so all these older folks who ain't got no problem with them, but I think that's what he was doing. I don't think I don't think anybody think that George Weah is done with politics. I'm telling you, I don't think so.
And Larry, they make a color speech, oh. They make a color speech.
Who, man?
Let me ask Larry something.
Go ahead.
Yeah, lead that Delonte, man. Let me ask Larry something. Larry, and I know a lot of people were talking about the president building his house, in 2018. But I was on the phone with somebody who were passing by where Carl's Grace said, GMB, who were passing by that area. And he said, "Oh, that's true. I've seen it right now." Then this morning I was on the phone with somebody. I don't know if you guys have seen that home of Amin Moda home. It looked like Neverland. They're big.
How's your negotiating the last time?
Yeah. Well,
about our house?
No,
well, my former
boss.
CEO wanted to buy that house, so we.
Oh, so you are in the good. You are
Yeah.
in the
No, I was.
your God.
Yeah, so I know he wanted to buy, and at that time, we're looking at $2 million, but his offer was 1.5.
But first of all, is it true that boy got bought one?
But right now,
but
right now, what Carl's Grace said, that's true, because when you see security around, and you see the fixing stuff around.
Wait, Kev. The security, the EPS is at
security around. They're fixing it. Anybody who go around that area.
Are you serious?
Yes,
I thought he meant a boy got rehab house.
No, that's house. That's they're fixing it as we speak right now. That place. But
Ben, you say you gotta make a call to the PR in Moali, asking whether that story is true. You don't confirm.
What Moali will tell you.
Oh, I mean,
what you said? Okay, buy $1 million house.
But meanwhile,
what we have to do, you have to send the way I was on the phone with somebody, and they was right there saying it. Send somebody there to tell you the same thing. I'm Ali. What I would say to you, I would say yes. No, yes.
But meanwhile, Ben, let me just say this. I get information right, and I hope the Kofa camp is monitoring too. The UP, I think they're trying to say that they were drawing their stuff against him for tomorrow, but I don't want to take it lightly. But they could stay. They people are deceptive. You go to work tomorrow, they come out tonight and say, "Oh, we're not going to go to the Supreme Court again." Then tomorrow morning, when your team, your guys are down, they go and issue, and then they start trying to prevent you, and your people don't show up. So I hope the UP, the majority of black from the Kofa side, hope they don't keep the guys down. It should all somewhere there tomorrow. I don't know, because the full legislature will be dissolved tomorrow, and income the 55th will be taken over from them. So I hope they all show up tomorrow and make sure that they are all prepared to make sure that everybody's on the ballot to run instead of just person say, well, I found out him.
Yeah, so I need Ben, please, I need Larry to come in and.
But why are you putting Larry on the top spot?
Because the Papi going big time. I just want to get his thought on this. The Papi going big time.
Kev, I would take this like real simple, right? The same way that George Weah was judged, George Weah was used and judged. The standard is set for George Weah.
Yeah,
it's going to transfer all the way down to JMB automatically. And the proliferation of cell phones in Liberia. Every young person has cell phones today. You probably have I don't have the actual number, but you can get information to a young person in Liberia a whole lot, like what you just said. In terms of the renovation, you see how quickly somebody was able to post something and confirm that. So pretty much everybody in Liberia that has a cell phone can be like an action reporter. So just to be clear, JMB would be judged the same way George Weah would be judged. What George Weah was judged. It's just how George Weah took a lot of the punches in terms of in social media, the insults. And he came out and he said, look, we don't have political prisoners. It's the same way Unity Party better put on the tolerance jacket
Yeah.
because people will be hitting them left and right. And if you cannot stand it and you start fighting back, and I see people talking about, using water cannons
Yeah,
and all that
check your
nonsense.
When you check at the house there, I want to see that house picture.
Yeah.
You see?
Okay, this is the house.
Is
Yeah,
this
that's
the house
how-
Cash is talking about?
Yes, that's it. That's the house.
Oh,
there.
can we zoom in on it?
Wait, I'll zoom in, guys. Let me zoom in real quick. Yeah. Wow. This is the
you
new
see?
house my uncle's about to live in.
That's
This is my
But
uncle's
because
house.
this house, I know. I've been really trying to
No,
sell.
but
this
I
house.
mean, built this house before.
Yeah, but he's been trying to sell the house for a long
He
time.
wasn't government
trying to
official
sell
when
it.
it was done.
Yeah, so
Okay, yeah, let me zoom in here. I want to share this house because
I hope it's not true, man. I hope
now my uncle's about to live in the good house.
But I mean, how's it there? You see it everywhere we travel. So
And you know one other thing too, Kev?
either the government buying a house or the business or whoever is supporting them buying a house.
Yeah. And Kev, just how they were criticizing George, we are flying private jets at a cost of over $4,000 per hour. It's cheap. Yeah, I know you like to hear that. That just how with the incoming administration go to fly private jets.
Hold on, look a mansion.
It's a serious mansion. Yeah.
It looks like or it is a mansion.
Listen, it is a beautiful house, though.
If you see this house on the highway, you see.
Listen, and let me just state for the record, when I mean build this house, I was very inspired because I felt it was very. But if Joe, I don't know, let's dig deeper whether Joe Boga buy me also now.
Yeah.
I really want to know, because
but I mean, he lived there. No,
I mean, it's a private businessman. He built his house. But
if Joe Boga lived there,
Boga buy it. I know where Joe Boga got money from.
There's nothing wrong with him living in there. We don't know the deal between him and we don't know the final signature. We don't know. We don't know whether he's buying it, he's leasing it, he's renting. We don't know. So,
Larry,
I just hope the master barrel is on a lower level because the whole gets stay.
Well, Larry,
here's my elevator. Too many.
Larry, here's my concern.
Elevator.
Here's my concern. We talk about even if he just lived there, people who believe in Honorable Boycott, President-elect, they claim that his lifestyle, okay, he's not that one who lives flamboyant life, and that's why all through his life he lived in the same house and been there all along, done nothing. Then all of a sudden, even serving as a vice president, he lived in the same house. Then all of a sudden, you become president. Then your lifestyle change.
Level don't change.
What is the justification? What would be the justification then?
And this goes to what Ben Stanby has said, and what Tomali and you guys have said repeatedly on this show. It's just the optics. It just looks bad.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing when the Mexican president came in. He said, look, we're going to sell the country's plane because it looks bad if I'm flying. Right now, you can see the Mexican president sitting in the lobby at airports. He'd probably be sitting in a seat behind you on commercial airlines. So it's the optics. It looks bad. It goes to the point that Robert was making in terms of what Dylan. The optics of flying business class, why your people who are making donations to you can fly commercial, the optics, it looks bad. So I would not even suggest or advise him, let him fix up his own place.
Well, you will have supporters saying we agree. You will have supporters saying the man is now president.
Because we are enablers as Liberians.
So my thing is, well, first of all, let's wait and see, right? I agree. Let's wait and see. The thing will not. The thing it will be. I think that pregnancy, it don't go in the back. It will come in the front. We'll know a Joe Boga living to Amimu house. We're gonna know. Go ahead, Robert. Wrap up.
Thank you. I think Larry, thank you so much for picking back my point about Dylan.
Oh God.
The optics.
It looks bad.
But Chairman, I know that you're former deputy chairman, but why you don't want to talk?
Go ahead. No, you got it right.
Tumali, look, business class is a nice place to look. I travel business class when I'm going.
Ask Kev.
Okay, I travel business class, right? But my thing is this: if you think the optics is not good, then don't share. You're not forced to share anything on social media.
Well, easy.
Wait, Charles Brown, ain't that the guy from Capitol Building?
No, not Charles. That Charles Brown?
I know. He don't.
So you see?
He's a boyfriend.
You see? But Ben, do you believe that? This is all part of the strategy. How can you say all of a sudden, why was the mansion not offered to Joseph Boakai 12 years ago, 6 years ago? Why is it being offered only after he becomes president?
Man, this
Do
is the same.
you think he's gonna make that investment and just allow the president to stay in there with no compensation whatsoever? These people think
The
we're
deal is
stupid.
already cut. They're not going to tell you. The
But so
deal
they
is
are
already cut. They're not going
formulating
to tell you.
strategy now to put out there and let us to believe that this is a contribution. Who makes such a contribution? Amal, he's a businessman. It doesn't even make no sense. But these are some of the statements we should expect. And from what I'm hearing, it looks like their house is already purchased.
Of course.
Wow.
At all,
Right.
the deal already cut. Look, I'm going to make you
Go ahead.
cover minister. Every rest you have $2 only until you can raise the price of the house, and then you give me the house. I mean, the deal already cut. It's already cut. This is what we're talking
Well,
about.
look,
Yeah,
we
not-
wait
not
to
even- not
let's see
really.
what
Yeah,
happens.
you started.
That's what happened after the 22nd. Guys, let remain hopeful. Let believe that the country will be rescued according to the UP. Let's see what happens. So guys,
My grandpa said, "When there's smoke, there's fire." It came from the
let be
armpit.
optimistic a little
Dominic,
bit.
Guys,
don't get too hard
I
on
think
him,
we should
bro.
take, let us get people's
man.
view on this, and let's take calls. At least about 10 or 15.
Yeah, we
10
got,
calls.
we got
Take some
about
calls.
20
Alright,
minutes to go.
Lofa, put your number up. Put your number up. Let him call me.
All right.
Lofa, don't do lunch for that meal.
But let me say this. Let me say this. Your I don't know if a lot of people remember, but Amin Boda is under an audit, and he actually paying. And during that time, he got that $2 million home. But a Unity Party man, no noise.
We agree.
And right now, as we speak,
Yes, we
you know,
agree.
people say, "Oh, you the other."
Manage your
And
expectations.
he's paying,
We agree.
and he's making payment.
Manage your expectations.
Responsible for bringing down FIB Bank,
Yes, we agree.
but he there. But
Jahad
became a
somebody
minister.
loan. You had somebody loan president. We had a plane. His friend let him use it.
The niggas go around.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
You see what everybody.
I would not be surprised if it said that. I would not be surprised if it said that.
You see what everybody is saying, and that's why the Unity Party feel they're entitled, because they have, they have people who will come and do their free work for them and say and throw all this job. So that's why Unity Party don't care. That's why they don't care, because they know people will come and say this. So well, people say he just did a great job for Amin Boda.
Guys, we gotta call it. We gotta call it now. Call it your deal.
Well,
that's why they don't care. Unity Party don't care.
The Liberia will not change. They will not change.
So we are
Hello,
not
go ahead.
there. Y'all can say, y'all can be talking. We are not there already.
Nigga, call on the line. Go on the line.
Go ahead, Lofa.
Caller, go ahead. Your name and where you calling from?
Me hear them.
Break your power. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much for the show. You know, it's just a repetition. These are things that we discussed and we know that was so happening.
Mm-hmm.
And that's straight to look at the guy defending say the president was offered the party.
Mm-hmm.
When you're sitting in the house, you said the man, now no capital, no, he got no crown on him. Now why you get a house at that? Why you get stay in the house and rescue that bro? Why you get stay in the house and rescue that bro? The offer you gave me, why you give offer to the librarian? Or you give it to the librarian people? No, we got a long way to go. Those same people, they know what they're there for. By the end of the day, they will start putting them on themselves. Listen, what preachers are saying. The men that preach for them, they will vote that were for them, that will campaign for them. That man is saying, it's not giving name. Even you get back. I mean, we got a long way to go. We will continue to speak out and we'll continue to speak out. Thank you so much for the show.
Thank you. I'll leave the phone lines open, but I feel like we should play this Prince Johnson video with the threat, though. But just know he'll come after you, Robert.
Prince Johnson threatening people again. No matter real people, I mean, real or.
I do have a.
Let's take this other call. Caller, your name and where you calling from. Let's hear from you. Hello.
Emmanuel Zaza.
Emmanuel, go ahead. Let's hear from you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you even to the panelists and everyone that's listening. I have a question, and the question has to do with why the law stated in the time, I don't know the year, but the year that the former Chief Justice was impeached. I mean, not Chief Justice, but Associate Justice Kabena was impeached. Honorable Dillon, at the time, he wasn't in the House, but I think he had a press conference and said he wants to introduce a bill also that you saw in India. According to him, in India, when your party sent you to the House, and you go there and deviate from the party's discipline, you decide to go against the party's will, the party can recall you. Now that he, Dillon, and all his other group are now being disciplined by Liberty Party, should we also ask the other party to recall them? I want a question to go to who said, Dillon, it's not like that. I want to stay on his word and ask him, should he now stay away from the legislature, resign because he's no longer party discipline, and even ask his political leader, sustainable political leader, to stay away from the protest because she's not party discipline? That's my question.
Wow. Ben will answer that.
I have a caller. Go ahead, caller.
Go ahead, take the call.
Thank you very much, man. This is Abraham Conner, man. Guys, thank you for the show. Gentlemen, there's a serious situation that I know sometimes you guys try to infuse some level of, joking just to ease the tension, but it's very important. The issue about the current revelation about President-elect having a home that is owned by Mr. Amin Mudar. For the record, Amin Mudar, I know he's a friend. I know him very well. But that is what they call quick pro quo. If for any reason the speculation out there is authentic that eventually Mr. Mudar is going to be nominated or appointed for the Ministry of Commerce, it puts it under the microscope that needs to be scrutinized, that indeed he's being paid, rewarded for that position. There's no if and but about it. You would never do that in the United States and go unquestioned or unanswered. It needs to be microscopically reviewed. That's nothing to play with. There's no comical thing to do there. If you have a president coming in, and then you have a home that worth $2 million, and eventually the person that sold that home to him gets nominated into his government or given any cardinal role to play in that government, there is nothing that people just laugh about and put it under the carpet. So I want it to be microscopically examined and let it become, first and foremost, if such a nominee goes for confirmation hearing, trust me, that question will never be. So I just wanted to highlight that, gentlemen. Yeah, thank you for the show, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's take the caller. Caller, let's hear you. Your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Andrew Sandor. I'm calling from Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
I called to just make a short contribution on this platform that you guys are on. First of all, I want to tell you thank you for the topic on the discussions. You don't just every time, be on the platform, but we have come up, with a multiple topic that we should educate people. So I just want to say thank you. Then I want to congratulate for your far-sightedness. You are saying that, pregnancy cannot go to the party, go to the front. That is true. They don't just run with information concerning our house. Man said, I believe I got the story that the incoming president for that house, some people say $1.1 million, and he's trying to make Mudar the commerce minister. Those rumors are coming up within it. It was the same group of people that said we are wasting money, randomly, and they have not taken power to using huge amount of money doing a whole lot of stuff. So we are waiting on them. You'll get a lot of time. You'll get a long way to educate us. So we want to just wait to see what will happen after the 22nd, and then we will start to roll the ball. So thank you so much for allowing me to come to be on the show.
Thank you for calling. So the post said we should wait until after the 22nd.
I gotta take 2 more calls, man. Then we'll play the
Yeah.
video. And
Right.
we gotta hear by 5 o'clock.
Yeah. I think we should actually just,
Let's just wrap it up, right? Let's just play the video,
let's
Lofa.
just play the video. Yeah, let me close, show the phone lines up real quick. Give me a second here. All right. So let me play the video here. Prince John.
We must use our time wisely. If we did not do it before, we done it. The first time in the history of our country, Liberian people decided to use their time wisely by removing over the head a dictator who personalized the national economy and regionalized all positions and tried to bastardize the brains of our youth with illicit drugs. God changed. The first time I saw the fulfillment of the sickness. There's a time and a season for everything. When we used to take money to vote people, we will eat the money, we'll wear a t-shirt, we'll wear a clothes, we'll eat the rest, and we'll go for water. I saw the true fulfillment, the manifestation of God's word in action. I saw a few machines who use the guns, moving on with pickups to threaten our voters, to remove the ballot boxes.
As you watch the broadcast, you can share and first tag a friend to follow with you.
Which one did that? That is when he threatening.
Yeah, I think this is the one that he was, I believe he was threatening. I don't know who he threatened on here, but
Whole somewhere we want to hear the man whole sermon, man.
exactly that. I was trying to. That's how I was trying to figure it.
Yeah, let's move it. You know, look, let me say this, guys. Just listening to what he said. I mean, you know, God really got patience. Can you imagine Prince Johnson talking about? I mean, you know, look.
Man, let me interrupt you quickly. You know, in this particular video, he made a comment about that. He said, every time I listen to them on the radio, they're talking about God really got patient. But you're right, God got patient because he allowed them to talk bad about his I don't know, his chosen preacher man.
You know, can you imagine Prince Johnson talking about somebody? First of all, is Prince Johnson calling George Weah a dictator?
Yeah.
Does he understand the meaning of a dictator? I mean, George Weah may be a lot of things, but dictator not one of them. The second thing is Prince Johnson talking about regional politics? Is he the one talking about OHA and appointment with me? Everything Prince Johnson's entire existence is tied towards everything Nimba. There is the Republic of Nimba, and there's not a Republic of Liberia. So I don't understand that. Guys, let's do our closing and let's try to wrap this thing up. My closing, look, I believe Fonati gets elected tomorrow. I think this is all a bluff. Well, no, I shouldn't say it's all a bluff. I think they attempted to do something. I think they pushed back. They have received. I think it's what you hear in all these news filtering that, they may withdraw this or they may not withdraw this. I think at the end of the day, we look forward to seeing the elections tomorrow. We look forward to seeing them concluded. We look forward to the 22nd when the president gets inaugurated so that the government starts the people's business, and let's see what happens. We will follow through with all these different stories that are popping up here and there, and then we take it from there.
Yeah, let me do mine so I can get going. Look, fascinating show. I know we love to joke sometimes, but listening to people like this man, yes, indeed, God has patience because In no other country will you see people sit on Sunday and listen to a man who murdered on live TV talked about God having patience. I mean, I've never heard Prince Johnson preach the gospel of God. He used his pulpit to preach politics and make threats. And to see people sit there and even mention the name of God in the presence of a killer speaks to where we are as a country. But in all seriousness, I hope in my lifetime, and I was talking to my pops on my birthday the other day, and we're talking about the Liberia he wishes to retire in. Because I told him I want to make sure that you guys retire in our country. And I don't plan on working in America until I'm 50 years old, 60 years old. No. So I'm still hopeful that we can create for ourselves a country where my children and my grandchildren and other Liberians can actually have decent education, compete in the private sector, and elect leaders of competence, morals, class. I think this is no joking matter. When you see what we see in our country today, the kind of leaders that we have elected, the voices that represents us, it breaks my heart. Every time I looked at and I have conversation with intelligent Liberians, both home and abroad, it raises this question about: are we limited when it comes to brilliance, when it comes to smart people, when it comes to experts? We're not. But we are in a space we're in because we have allowed a few incompetents and a few morons to be the voices in our country, and this must change. All right, so I look forward to what happens tomorrow, and we'll see what happens. Thank you.
Yeah, can I get my closing, Ben? Yeah, guys, look, it was a good show, and tomorrow we look forward to see what will be a historic moment in our country. But I'll urge the Fonati block from the house. They should not let the guards down. Should be prepared. Anything can happen tomorrow. No surprise can take place. So you should make sure that they are there, present info, and go prepared to ensure that the vote is held, and that no one should undermine the vote. And the Supreme Court, hope they are listening to that. They should not allow a country to fall into constitutional crisis. They should be very, very careful how they interpret the law of our country. That's why we have a constitution. They are there to interpret the law. And where we have some issues of disagreement, hope they take the seize of that matter and make sure that everyone's allowed to contest. Whoever wins the speakership, the person walk away. If whoever wins the pro tem, walk away. And I hope that opposition should know that after tomorrow, we have 6 years to go with the Unity Party, and whoever election is held tomorrow, there are consequences for these elections. So make sure you're prepared. And lastly, just pray this week will be an interesting week for all of us, our country. I just got information that there will be some appointments being made prior to on either the eve of inauguration or the day of inauguration, because right after inauguration, I think the president will be going straight to an African summit. So they will make an appointment. So let's see what we hear for these names that are coming up. We should research them and scrutinize them. Don't let anyone get a pass before they go before the Senate. We also do our due diligence by checking on them too. So some of them thinking they would just get an easy pass, we'll call them out. If you qualify for the job, you have no skeleton, you untinted, yes, we'll give you, we'll praise, hope that we'll congratulate you and let you move on. Meanwhile, Cape Verde is leading Ghana 2-1. Thank you, guys.
Wow.
Can I come in?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm disappointed though.
Yeah, so great show. I like the way how you guys elevate the conversation. To Robert's point, I don't know if that church, if it's a church or a party headquarters, because you see a lot of people sitting there with Unity Party regalia on. So I'm not sure what was going on in there. And it's not so much about preaching the gospel, but it seems so much about railing against politicians. So that thing was just absolute nonsense. There are important dates we have coming up, right? You have the inauguration, and then you will have the annual message. You can't walk into the inauguration preaching fighting corruption when it is preceded by pay for play. It kind of looks bad. So I would highly recommend they stand down. Richard Coons stands down. Unity Party stands down, and let Fanati Kofa, enter this election. Take the seat if that's what it comes out to, because the election was extremely close. The election results shows we have a divided country. So you don't bring the country together by starting a brouhaha with the legislator, by starting a fight with the legislator. It just doesn't make any sense. They need to stand down, and they need to kind of find a way to create a more friendly atmosphere. This is not the right approach. It was kind of unusual to see Unity Party members on another show openly arguing. It was unusual. You haven't taken power yet, and you're openly arguing like that in the public space. That's bad. You're supposed to be the change agent. Liberia is in deep need of a transformational leader. You're not transforming anything if you're starting off with pay for play. So just wanted to say, again, guys, great show. Always like when you guys invite me to come on, because you guys elevate the conversation.
My man Larry, you're not invited. You were part of the panel now. You talk about invite you to come on. Yeah, man. You think you're not reading the what you give you that? Not invitation for you. But yeah, everybody,
people from Sanction, the book.
Larry, I had nothing. I made that. I got 3 text messages. They said Larry said there are ways you can get off the sanctions.
But that's true. The guy that I have, he was a former federal prosecutor. He fights white-collar crimes. He deals specifically with the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. That's what he does. He's a partner in one of the largest law firms in the U.S. He gets that stuff done. He gets people off sanctions.
When it said they don't need to use, when it said,
my man, wait a minute. Yeah.
Not yet. Dylan's not on sanction.
Gotta be a consultant.
But I never mentioned this before because I didn't want to get into it.
Larry, relax. We're coming open our Don't worry.
And I spoke to the guy about it. I chatted with
right now.
Larry, I am going to
get my first client.
Don't worry.
Larry understands that the UP will bring more sanctions, so that's a good.
You got 5 potential clients. 5 or 6.
You guys are not right.
do your closing, please.
Look, guys,
talk about the possible sanction.
It was a great show as always. But let me say that there are rumors around that some staffer from Capitol Building will try to block the area tomorrow. So I hope the folks who will really take precaution and know that and keep these guys far away. Jeha, they came up when they were about to the confirmation hearing for Musa Din and all those things went that way. There may be some tomorrow. So just be cautious of it. But it was a great show. And I just hope that Liberia will somehow rise again. From what I'm seeing, we're gonna be in it for a long haul. Because corruption, it already started anyway. So, but I just hope something good will happen for Liberia. Thank you.
I'm gonna close. Oh
no, you the one coming close. You carrying the show. So
and you got to.
Good show. I don't know, but listen to Prince Johnson. Only in Liberia, you have a warlord. I don't know what other country that warlord will call a shot, stay in the church and stay threatening people. Sorry for the country, but again, a good show. People need to go around the Amimoda house and see the construction are going on, the renovation are going on, and see for themselves and post it on Facebook.
But let me ask.
Now post it on Facebook.
So, but I mean, doing his own renovation.
No, man.
Is it possible? I'm just asking though.
I mean,
is it possible that
Amin is selling the house. He's selling the house, so
but he's doing his renovation to sell the house. I'm asking.
Updates, man.
Yeah, he's doing the renovation to sell the house.
But this house was not.
He already has a buyer.
The house was not in a dilapidating state. At least the last time I saw it when I was in Monrovia. Maybe they're doing finishing touches on it.
Yeah, but the renovation is going around, and who's having for that to have security people sitting around the renovating the home?
No, that part is where I have my concern. If the EPS is at the property while they're renovating it, then I have my concern. But it could be renovating his house. That's what I just thought to say. But Lofa, take it over.
The EPS? Oh, okay.
All right. So let me, and again, it was a great show, very informative. But I want to end on this note. Two things I want to highlight here. The Unity Party promised us to rescue Liberia. Less than 2 weeks, okay, to inauguration, the first person to benefit from this, in quotation, rescue is the president-elect's son, who has been allegedly flown out of Liberia to seek medical attention for his addictions to drugs. Again, there are thousands of Liberians in Liberia who could benefit from similar gesture, but the 1%, and the 1% tend to benefit, and the rest of those young people are left alone to fend for themselves. This is the kind of society we find ourselves in. Secondly, if we all can make it our responsibility to start holding ourselves accountable, including our colleagues around us, I think we probably may just achieve what Robert and other people are saying, a better Liberia in a not too distant future, because we can start holding ourselves accountable, even from our homes going to where the likes of lawmakers are. Again, we continue to defend certain people. We have turned the entire country into a bunch of enablers, right? When the guy in your party is doing one thing, it's okay, but when it comes on the other side, then it's not good. We cannot continue on this path, and we will never move Liberia forward. Finally, I just want to say again, guys, it was great being out here. Honorable Joseph Numa Boakai, President-elect. Remember, we will not manage our expectation. Whatever Amara Khan is telling you, let me advise you, go contrary to that, because Liberian expectation will not be managed. Our expectation is you came to rescue Liberia, you will, and you are expected to rescue Liberia. The only expectation we have here is you and your colleagues will rescue Liberia, and you will fight corruption. You will fight corruption, because we will not shut up. We will continue to bring what it is, and you all should hear it. Get ready for it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. It was a great show. Thank you for all of you. Thank you to the listeners.
Anyone joining me? I have a section on the birthday party continue, the celebration continues. So you guys can come.
You going on there? What are you telling over?
Last minute.
Enjoy your day, my brother. Happy belated birthday again.
Right. Virtual. So on this side.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in.
Very electronically.
Today was a special show. We wish everybody well. We will be monitoring tomorrow the events in Liberia, and we will be here for another fascinating edition of the closing argument tomorrow.
Robert, I'll be needed in next weekend, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's sweet. Careful. See you.
All right, guys. It was so great to see you guys. Good night.
The money power, move on behind it. I'll be the crossing over it. Satanic power, they are the strong.
Of course, this was a wonderful one.
The crossing over it. The money power, move on behind it.
We want to say thanks to all of you for being a part of today's conversation.
Satanic power, man, you're the strong. I'll be the crossing over.
Do not forget to join us tomorrow. Same time. Or the regular time, let me say that. Those of you following from across Africa, we say thank you. All of us that made it into 2024, we say we are grateful.
The mistake you made is to make me so cross over. And the mistake you make.
We got to do it this way, Sita. We can't just ignore the reality of Liberia. No, we got talented people in Liberia, and sometimes when we hear the voices, we just want to appreciate and celebrate them. So if you want to listen to this music right here, Sita is already warning me. She said, shut this music down before we get reported. So we will stop right here and we will say, folks, you all have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful night. I'm out. I'm your host. Well, was your host, and not really. But anyway, on the Across Africa side, I'm out of here, folks. Enjoy yourselves, and let's close on this one right now.